meeting to order. So off the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Adequate notice of this meeting was advertised in the Asbury Park Press and the Beacon on January 11th, 2024, and by posting the notice in the Forked River and Lenoka Harbor Post Office, and by filing a copy of this notice with the Lacey Township Clerk, as required by the Open Public Meeting Act. Roll call, please.
Mr. Bell? Absent, he's going to be late. Mrs. Armato?
Here.
Mr. Conity?
Present.
Mrs. Walker? She's absent. Mr. Armato?
Here.
Mrs. Claus?
Here.
Mr. Peters?
Present.
We're going to go into executive session. Be it resolved that an executive session be convened for the purpose of discussing confidential student matters, including but not limited to harassment, intimidation, and bullying, confidential legal matters, including but not limited to the current caseload, and confidential personnel matters. The subject matters of these discussions will be disclosed to the public when the reason for confidentiality subsides, and the length of the executive session is estimated to be approximately 60 minutes, after which the board shall reconvene and proceed with business at 7 p.m. Action may be taken. Motion?
Motion, Peters.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, can everybody hear me okay? First, I'd like to apologize for being late. We had some legal matters we had to resolve. I'm not sure if you're aware of how the agenda operates or not, but when we get to items number 21 through 22 on page 6 of the agenda, we still do not have our items resolved in private session. We will go back into private session again when we get to that point. But on that note, I did request to have the meeting tonight in the auditorium to accommodate everyone, so nobody was sitting in the stairs, nobody was on the floor, nobody was in the cafeteria. What I am going to ask is, since we're in a bigger room, if you were going to make public comment tonight, would you please sit down over here up front on the left side of the stadium? That way I can call you out and find you easier who's going to be making public comment, and we're not all over the place. Thank you, I appreciate it. If we could stay out of that front row on the right, the board's going to go down there for presentations for this evening, and thank you so much for coming, appreciate it.
So just to start, SGA met on April 8th. The juniors are working on their May 2nd prom, which will be at the Holiday Inn in Manahawkin. They're also working on their first fundraiser, Kiss a Senior Goodbye, and the seniors' prom will be on June 13th.
We would now like to present this month's Unsung Hero Award presented by SGA. If Willow Dodd can please come up to the stage, meet me by the podium, that would be great. Please give her family a round of applause. I don't know if she's in attendance today, but I'll say something short about her right now. For the month of April, the Student Government Association would like to recognize Willow Dodd as the Unsung Hero. Willow is a member of the Leadership Academy of Humanities and balances numerous AP and honor level classes while simultaneously maintaining a vivacious social life. She's a star player for the school lacrosse team and is able to manage the rigorous day-to-day of junior year, all while keeping a smile on her face and existing as a light to those around her. For those reasons, it is clear why she has been chosen as April's Unsung Hero. Congratulations.
That's going to be all from us.
Next for the report from the superintendent.
Okay, can everybody hear us? Okay.
Yeah? No? Mr. Lytle's up in the booth. Maybe he can turn our microphones up. Give me a thumbs up, Mr. Lytle, when... Okay, can you hear me now? Yes? All right, I'll lean in. Okay, welcome to the April board meeting. Thank you all for being here tonight. We have quite a few topics to discuss, but first I am going to turn it over to Mr. King to introduce our seniors of the month. So board members, if you'd, we're going to drop the screen, and if you want to come around and be able to see.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the board meeting. Thank you, Dr. Pereira, Board of Education, and everyone in attendance. It gives me great pleasure to announce April's Seniors of the Month. Our first Senior of the Month is Audrey Molyneux. Audrey, please come on up. Audrey, her family's in attendance, so please a round of applause for their family as well. Hello, we're here to celebrate April's Seniors of the Month. Our first Senior of the Month is Audrey Molyneux. Here's a short video on her accomplishments.
I'm Audrey Molyneux, and I'm proud to be April Senior of the Month at Lacey Township High School.
Congratulations, Audrey Molyneux, on being named Senior of the Month. I'm very proud.
Audrey, congratulations on Student of the Month. It's well deserved.
Some of my favorite memories from high school have been competing at the robotics competition and being a part of the science fair.
You know, Audrey, ever since you were a freshman, you've always been goal-oriented and driven. One who I thought was going to be possibly a mechanical engineer, maybe an orthopedic, maybe a biomedical engineer, because you always have a knack for the way that things work.
During my time at LTHS, I've been part of the Interact Club, the Biology Club, a STEM representative, and a co-captain for the Sea Perch team.
Audrey, as a STEM Academy student, I've been impressed with your ability and your initiative since freshman year, and this year is no different. You won our Best in Show at our school-wide science fair, and this past weekend, your robotics team won the New Jersey Sea Perch competition, which allows you to compete at internationals for a second time, and hopefully you'll bring home a trophy.
Outside of school, I like to hang out with my friends, watch movies, and go thrifting.
Audrey, you've always forged your own path through all 4 years of high school, which has made you one of the top academic seniors. Your success in each subject has been unmatched.
After high school, I plan to go to college to pursue biomedical engineering and hopefully have that as my future career.
So congratulations, Audrey, on being named Senior of the Month.
Audrey, I have no doubt you will be a successful biomedical engineer or scientist at a yet-to-be-chosen university. Any schools will be lucky to have you as you'll redefine their standards of excellence as you have done here at Lacey. I wish you the best of luck and look forward to hearing more about your success.
Congratulations again, Audrey. Our next April Senior of the Month is Christian Devers. Christian, come on up. His family's in attendance. A round of applause for them as well. Our next Senior of the Month is Christian Devers. Congratulations to both our seniors. Here's a video on his accomplishments.
I'm Christian Devers, and I'm proud to be named April's Senior of the Month at Lacey Township High School.
Christian, congratulations on Student of the Month. You have been a unique standout in the STEM Academy over the past 4 years.
Congratulations, Christian Devers, on being named Senior of the Month.
I'm a member of the baseball program here. I'm also a member of the STEM Academy, which I'm very happy to be part of because I've met some of the best friends I've ever made in my life.
Christian, your ability to forge ahead no matter what gets in your way has been one of the reasons you have been so successful. Continue on that path. Success is definitely guaranteed.
Outside of school, I really big baseball guy, and when I'm not doing that, I'm usually at home playing video games, reading, chilling, listening to music, anything.
I gotta tell you, last year during your leadership presentation of Forrest Gump, I wasn't exactly sure what to expect. But you're the type of person who kind of takes the project for what it is and then truly makes it his own. That's gonna take you extremely far in life. I respect that about you. You see what you have and you make it what you need. That's a big, big, big experience part of you that I truly respect.
Also, my favorite memories here are probably going to Maryland for a robotics trip for Sea Perch. We won the international competition. Well, we placed 11th out of 60, which pretty good. And then another one of my favorite memories is cardboard canoe, which we did for the STEM Academy, where we were given 3 weeks to make a canoe out of cardboard. And I mean, we sunk, but we had a great time.
Christian, 4 years of STEM, robotics club has created a lot of good memories, mostly funny ones about you living in your own world. But that ability to focus has really made you successful and allowed you to balance, sports, academics, and even compete at that international Sea Perch competition last year.
After high school, I'm probably going to go to Rutgers University, where I've been selected for the Honors College, and I'm probably going to do the 4+1 master's program for engineering.
So congratulations, Christian, on being named Senior of the Month.
Christian, congratulations on being accepted into the Rutgers Honors College of Engineering 5-year master's program. This is a very challenging program, but I have no doubt you'll succeed. I wish you the best of luck and look forward to seeing you in the future.
Thank you, Dr. Pereira. That concludes my presentation for the evening.
All right, another round of applause to Audrey and Christian. Awesome. Okay, so usually after we do our Seniors of the Month, we talk about our staff members of the month. And like I always say, behind every successful student is an amazing teacher who helped him or her get there. So our 2 staff members of the month are Lauren Mahar and Kimberly Carls. Are you both here with us tonight? Yes? Come on up. All right, while they're making their way up to the stage, let me tell you a little bit about why they were selected. So this is Kimberly Carls making her way up. She is a teacher at Lacey Township Middle School. And this is what your colleagues said about you, Kim. When we think of a staff person of the month, we think of someone who has shown outstanding commitment and dedication to our students, staff, or community. We think of someone who sets an example of excellence. Kimberly is this person. Not only does she design and implement engaging lessons that utilize different instructional strategies and platforms, she can connect with students through her deeply caring attitude, concerned influence, and positive presence. There was so much more that was in this paragraph, but I was going to be reading for a long time, so I picked out the bigger points. So it is for these reasons that Kim is deserving of recognition as District Staff Member of the Month. Congratulations. Oh, no, don't go too far. We have a video. Yes, we do. Is Lauren with us tonight? No, she couldn't make it? Okay. So Lauren Mahar is a teacher at Forked River School, and I'm going to read a little bit about what her colleagues said about her. Lauren encourages the children to be the best that they can be and to be proud of themselves and their classmates' accomplishments. She fosters a team mentality in her class. Lauren always has a plan A, B, and C. She teaches with compassion and dedication. If a student gets discouraged with a lesson because they are not grasping the topic, Lauren will try another route until the student comprehends what is being taught. She is an amazing teacher, and we are so happy to work with her this year and honored to nominate her as Teacher of the Month. Congratulations, Lauren. And so we have a video about the both of them. Mr. Lytle?
Hello, Lacey Township. Welcome to the Forked River School. We are here to surprise special education teacher Miss Lauren Mahar, who was nominated as the Lacey Township School District's Employee of the Month for April. So come on, let's surprise her. Boys and girls, how are you? How are we doing today, everybody? Ladies, Miss Mahar, how are you? I have a special guest here. Boys and girls, can I have your attention, please?
Yeah.
I have a very special announcement. For the month of April, I am here to congratulate the Lacey Township, one of the Lacey Township School District's Employees of the Month for April, and that person is Miss Mahar.
I want to tell you what a fabulous teacher she is. She was moved from first grade, and she was a little hesitant this year, and she never worked with a para before, so we had a little bit of getting used to in there. But it's wonderful, this room, and Miss Mahar has made it such a wonderful place. It's home. It's very comforting, inviting. The children, she encourages the children to be themselves and act on their feelings, and it's okay to be sad or happy or share. And she's a very compassionate teacher, and the children are very, very comfortable in there, and they just love that room and the environment that she's created this year. And I just want to say thank you for making me feel welcome in there, and the children and the other paras and anybody else who comes in there. They know it's a safe haven and it's a home away from home.
We're here to go surprise Kim Carls, who just received Staff Member of the Month. Come on, let's go. Hey, Miss Carls, can I hijack your class for a second?
Sure, definitely.
So, everybody, you may not know, but every month the district celebrates a Staff Member of the Month. And this month, Miss Carls, we're recognizing Miss Carls. Congratulations. All right, Miss Carls was nominated by Mrs. Kirk, and we got a committee together, and they chose you. So congratulations again.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Kim, congratulations on being selected as a District Staff Person of the Month. So deserving, and I'm humbled by your awesomeness, your enthusiasm, and the way that you really care about your students. It's a pleasure to be your colleague and your friend. Congratulations.
Okay, another round of applause for our two Teachers of the Month, Kim and Lauren. Okay, as per tradition, Mr. Leiter, are we ready for our April Lacey Now? We are. Okay.
I'll take it. I can't.
Another day, another imposter. I won't let you give up. And I hear a voice whisper, I'll meet you right there in Paris.
All right, thank you, Mr. Merman, and to all the staff members who submitted footage for our April Lacey Now. Another round of applause, that was amazing. Okay, I now have the very distinct honor of recognizing some amazing people in the room who go above and beyond every single month to do amazing things, and they are so generous to the students of the Lacey Township School District. They are so dedicated, and when I got the phone call about this latest donation, I was truly stunned. I believe, Heather Scanlon, you are going to come up on behalf of the Forked River Rotary. All of you are coming up? Mr. Angone, are you coming up as well? Come on up. I'm not going to steal your thunder. I'm going to let them tell you about the donation and what it is for.
Good evening. So my name's Drew, and I'm a member and the current president of the Forked River Rotary Club. We're here this evening to make a $20,000 donation to be used towards new sustainable mental health projects in our schools. Thank you. As you may or may not know, Rotary is a worldwide service organization with over 1.4 million members in over 200 countries. One of Rotary's goals this year is to address mental health issues throughout the world. As a local club, our focus is on making our community a better place to live and raise our families. And for this reason, we're happy to follow Rotary International's example by making this donation. Dr. Purpurai has identified some wonderful programs that schools can utilize to enhance student mental health. We hope that this $20,000 funding grant from the Forked River Rotary Club will help her introduce several of these programs into our schools in the near future. Thank you. Yep. All right. Yes.
Don't try to cash that.
We'll get you a real one to cash.
Okay,
Yeah.
got
All
it.
right.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
On behalf of the Lacey Township School District, the Board of Education, all of our staff members, again, we were absolutely floored by the generosity of the Forked River Rotary Club. And it's this tonight, what happened, but it's every month. There's always something amazing that the Forked River Rotary does for the students and the staff of the Lacey Township School District. We owe them so much gratitude. Another round of applause. Thank you so much. Okay, while our board members make it back to their seats, I am going to turn it over to Ms. Ormsby to introduce our auditor and tell you a little bit about why the auditor is going to be presenting tonight.
All right, so we have Mr. Stankiewicz from Stein, I forget the name of the. Here we have Samuel Klein, thank you, to present our audit for the 2022-2023 year. We have to do this audit every year. He'll explain some more details about it, but Mr. Stankiewicz,
Okay?
yes,
Fine
that's
here?
fine right there.
Okay.
Yes.
Good evening. My name is Jerry Stankiewicz. I'm a partner in Samuel Klein and Company, CPA firm. We specialize in audits of school districts, municipalities, fire districts, sewer plants, et cetera, et cetera. We were appointed by the Board of Ed and answerable to the Board of Ed. Hey Bruce, how are you? We were appointed to do the audit for the school district fiscal year of June 30th, 2023. Basically, we're here tonight to just discuss the two different documents that we generate from our presentation. There's two documents. There's a thin one, which is my representation to the board about the operation of the business office for the school year. The other one is sort of a joint venture between us and the business office. It's called the Annual Comprehensive Financial Report. The only thing inside this thicker document that belongs to us is our opinion about the financial statements, okay? So how it works really is we're appointed. Our charge is to give an opinion on the financial statements. Financial statements and all the information are presented to us by the business office. We then do our testing. We do our, checking the numbers, verifying information. We sort of assemble it into report format, which is what the bulk of the information is inside this document. So from there, starting with that, we do our testing work. Now, not to get fancy about auditing, because there's a lot of sophisticated things that happen in other types of audits. You need to know, first of all, number one, with regards to what we test on a sample basis, okay? So, and what we found is that the four most important things that I know of is all the documentation for expenditures is proper, okay? All of it's charged to the correct budget account, okay? It's charged to the correct fiscal year, and you're in compliance with the public school contracts law. Everything else is all wonderful, but those are the most important things. With regards to payroll, okay, we check, again, on a sample basis. We verify that everyone that works for the district is paid in accordance with either board authorization, collective bargaining agreement, and or other agreement or arrangement. We run a sample. You people approve salaries, and we check to see that everyone was paid in accordance with that. Salaries consist of base pay, and then also as well other compensation, which, and again, on a test basis, we verify. Coaches, overtime, class coverage, things like that. Again, it's all on a sample basis. We found that all to be good. We found also, too, your payroll taxes to be paid timely. On the revenue side, your revenue is basically property taxes and state aid. So pretty much those are very easily auditable. So not much to do extra there, but just check to see that everything got paid timely and properly. You also have a rather extensive special revenue fund, which is where you receive your state and federal, mostly federal grants. And obviously, since COVID started, there's been a lot of activity in those particular special revenue funds with all the different extra aids that were given out, which I understand are going to disappear. So that we checked out pretty extensively. I would say that when you change auditors, it's very difficult, not only for us, but as well as the staff. We don't know them, they don't know us, we have different expectations, they have different expectations. I want to indicate that the business office, the staff there has been extremely cooperative with my people in presenting the information to them, and they should be acknowledged because there was never any doubt or question or problem. Everything we asked for, we were given. We were given it timely, and again, our results of that were good. So we have a conclusion would be that based on our audit test, based on the information presented by the business office, our opinion is that the financial statements as presented were presented fairly and properly in accordance with accounting principles required by the Governmental Accounting Standards Board as well as the state of New Jersey. Okay, and by the way, the state of New Jersey piggybacks on the national governmental accounting standards, so it's no different in New Jersey than it is in Delaware or Texas or Oklahoma or whatever. So these statements are prepared on that basis. There's a lot of detailed information inside of here, and again, it was a joint venture between us and the business office. They, through Ms. Ormsby, presented us with a lot of the information. A lot of the information we had to grab from other sources in order to be in compliance with the requirements. And some of the stuff, although you look at it, you may not think it relates to Lacey, but somebody somewhere is looking at this information, whether it be Wall Streeters or in Washington, okay, or in Trenton, even in Trenton. So a lot of data is contained in this document. I do want to direct your attention to the main operating document, which is Exhibit C1, and let's see, Exhibit C1, I would get to the page number. Just want to point something out there, and it is, I clipped it here. Okay. Page 96. Okay. And again, there's a lot of information in here. You may not think it's relevant, but the most important fund is your general fund. That's where bulk of your tax money goes in and the bulk of your expenditures go out of, other than what goes through the grant fund. So at the end of the year, okay, there's different components of your fund balance. Okay, pretty much most of it, and as we discussed at the exit conference, is spoken for. You know, you have a capital reserve of $5.5 million. You have, and again, a lot of it's already spoken for. And in fact, what happens is on July 1 of 23, yes, on July 1 of 23, when you open up for that school year, in effect, this stuff is, it's not disappeared, but it's just already spoken for, and it's used obviously to balance the budget for the fiscal year that we're in. So the capital reserve was about $5.5 million. The maintenance reserve was $500,000. Unemployment, which is really not the board's money, it's mostly employee money, is $280,000. The excess surplus as a result of the operations for fiscal year 22-23 is $423,000, and that's a mandatory revenue source in the 24-25 budget. Excess surplus utilized to balance the budget was, this year was $3.7 million. Encumbrances, which again are earmarking of funds that get expended subsequently, but they relate to the fiscal year that ended, was $700,000. And then your, what's called your unassigned, I call it your 2% factor, is $1.7 million, okay? So there's a lot of different numbers there. They may appear to be large, but they are in effect pretty much all spoken for, not necessarily a lot of free money there. So that represents that. And again, this information, and for the record, again, the business office was very cooperative. All this information came directly, dollar for dollar, from all the various computer runs that are generated, are required to be generated through your accounting system. One other exhibit I would like to point out has to do with your food service operation, which is page 35. Okay, that's where the cafeteria, that you serve lunch for the kids, and I don't know if you serve breakfast, or you do, or extra any a la carte information that comes along. So basically that fund, the expenses in that fund are $1.4 million. You get reimbursement from the government for $900,000, and your local revenues from local sources, which is parents' money, is about $600,000. Now, again, that number that's generated at the end, of fund balance. Unfortunately, the Department of Agriculture has regulations about how much money you can keep in your food service fund. So right now, we're in excess of that requirement. It's actually 30% of your operating expenses, okay? We're required to comment on it, okay? There's no big penalty, but we have to comment on it. And we also comment that in most districts, what they do is they say, yes, we're going to spend it down or buy things, you know, for the cafeteria operation, okay? So, and part of the problem was there's monies now coming through in all school districts and some entities that relate to COVID, that relate to the fact that possibly there was excess, now I'm not saying overcharges, but that some inflationary forces on the food service companies, or you directed for yourself, you received some extra money this year, which kind of raised your fund balance, your retained earnings above where it's allowed to be. There's a comment in the audit, in this thinner of the two documents about that. And again, it's not like a mortal sin or anything totally bad. It's just, you know, in most of the districts, that's the case that I work on. And then, who knows, 3 years from now, you could be way below that number. So, but a lot of it had to do with some of the COVID money being filtered out, and I don't know if there's much more coming. So this document here is my representation to the board about the operations of the business office, which I've indicated was quite good. They're quite cooperative. All the documentation is proper, okay? So in this here, basically, we do comment on that one item with food service. We make comments about, you know, how the records were presented, which was all positive, okay? We really didn't have any problems with anything that was presented. And in here is where we're required to, if any, make recommendations about anything, and nothing rose to the level in this audit here that would require us to make recommendations. So in the end, there's no adverse comments, there's no recommendations, and you have, again, going back to this thicker of the two, this is the independent auditor's report, which is what we're requested by the board to do. It represents what's called an unmodified opinion. In the old days, it was called a clean opinion or an unqualified opinion. Okay, it's unmodified because your accounting procedures do not depart from what you're required to do. Okay, and again, it was all supplemented by our testing. Okay, again, proper documentation, proper cutoff, proper charges to line items. So we were, you know, my staff, probably any first-year audit that we do, we spend a little more time looking at things because we're not that familiar with the operation. But we were happy. I was happy. So again, the opinion is that it's unmodified, which is a good thing, and also there's no audit recommendations. So, but we do want to thank the business office staff for being helpful to our people.
Thank you.
And we want to thank you, Mr. Stankiewicz, for taking the time to come out here and present. There's going to be a quiz for everybody in the room about everything you said. So
Okay.
we'll see how we do.
Okay.
Thank you.
All they heard was that .million something, and their ears went up.
Thank you. Any questions?
Thank you.
No? Okay. Thank you so much. Have a great night.
Okay, it's no problem coming out. And if there's any questions, please channel them through the business administrator. I doubt that there were because everything worked out very nicely, you know. But you never know when a question arises. But you can channel them through Sharon Ormsby. And thank you, Sharon.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Thank you. Okay. Before I start talking about the budget, I earlier was reminded when we watched the Lacey Now about the play Anastasia, which I had the most unbelievable opportunity to see, and I hope you did too. Big shout out to Mr. Olander, Mr. Zacher, and the entire cast of this year's production of Anastasia. Round of applause to all of them. It was amazing. Amazing. All right. So I don't normally read when I make my comments, but I have a lot to say about the budget, and I'm guessing that's probably why a lot of you are here tonight. So I wanted to make sure that I didn't miss anything, so just bear with me because my comments is rather long. So last month, we presented the tentative budget and outlined the impacts of state aid reductions that forced us to make painful and drastic reductions to our budget. And you saw that hopefully as you were walking in on the projector behind us. As you saw on those slides, our call to action for advocacy has not changed. We need help from our entire school community and beyond in getting the word out that something has to change, because there is no explanation for why this has happened to us and another 143 school districts in New Jersey. No one can explain why. No one has explained why. Since presenting the tentative budget, we have learned from the New Jersey Department of Education that school districts may not seek loans for the 2024-2025 budget. At this point, we have more questions than answers, as I'm sure you all do. And we have relayed those questions to the Ocean County Executive Superintendent, and by extension, the New Jersey Department of Education. That's who they work for. Yesterday, we were informed that beginning next week, and we just received confirmation of that, a team of executive county business officials, also known as ECBOs, will be working with us to review our district's budget. We are told that the purpose of this meeting will be collaborative, not punitive. And the goal will be to determine the impact of reducing an additional $7 million from our budget, which is the number that currently represents our deficit. You already saw that impact, but let me outline that again. Reducing another $7 million from our budget is not a thorough and efficient education. And I think we absolutely, positively all agree on that. It means that we will have to reduce an additional 57 staff members, including teachers, administrators, and support staff. Increase our class sizes into the 40s across all grades. Implement pay to participate in all athletic programs and co-curricular activities, and completely eliminate our ability to repair aging buildings across the district. Let me be very, very clear. The Lacey Township School District does not have a spending problem. It has a revenue problem caused by the reduction of state aid. I cannot stress that enough. Last week, we were hopeful about Assembly Bill A4161, which provides two features. First, a mechanism to recoup a portion of state aid lost for the upcoming year in a way of stabilization aid. The second piece provides for flexibility to exceed the 2% tax levy cap. While the bill did fully pass the Assembly last Thursday, and I was in Trenton to see that happen, it won't be heard by the full Senate until May 9th. It then needs to be approved by the governor. Simply put, we are running out of time because of the hard deadline of May 15th, when we are required to inform staff of whether they will have future employment in the Lacey Township School District. Concerning our staff, I have received many emails and phone calls about the staff that, if nothing changes, will be losing their jobs. I know our board members have as well. Let me be clear about this as well. We don't want to lose any staff, not one. Our ultimate goal is to improve academic achievement for all students, and with everything we've been through this school year, and we know what that is, the last thing we should be doing is reducing staff. The very last thing we should be doing is reducing staff. But at this point, given where we are right now, we have no choice. So the big question that is asked of us often is, how do we decide who gets reduced and who gets to stay? This is a long and arduous process that begins with reductions of non-tenured staff because they are not yet protected by tenure. If the reduction requires us to reduce further, we must then comply with teacher tenure laws that are based on seniority and certifications. Principals make these determinations based on required core subject areas such as math, ELA, science, and social studies, and then consider where consolidations can be made. It has nothing, absolutely nothing, to do with performance. I ask that everyone consider that when making comments tonight for all teachers you may be here to talk about. Again, we don't want to lose any of our staff, not one. And we certainly do not make these decisions based on performance. I can't stress that enough. We make them based on a seniority list and certifications because that is what we must do. So I'm going to end my comments where I began. Our call to action for advocacy has not changed. We need everyone's help in spreading the word that we are fiscally responsible, fiscally sound, and that we do not have a spending problem. We have a revenue problem. I implore all of you and beyond to reach out to Governor Murphy, the Commissioner of Education, and members of the Budget and Education Committees. All of that information is laid out on our website. You've received that hopefully on the flyer that you collected on your way in. It's all on our website. It includes a sample letter, email addresses, phone numbers, social media contacts. We up here, we are not going to stop fighting. We are not going to stop. We need to understand the why. And until somebody can tell us the why or restore our state aid, which would be better, we're not going to stop fighting, and we're imploring all of you to help us do that. That concludes my comments, Board President Peters.
Next, we're going to continue to public comment. During public comment, I'm going to read the public comment participation statement. We usually ask that you state your name and address. And for the students' purposes, I do not want you to state your name and address. I just want you to say, I'm a student at Lacey School. With any students going to speak during public comment, okay? Any audience member wishing to make a comment will raise his or her hand when called upon, state their name, address, or affiliation, and attention to make a statement. If you're a student, please just say you're a student. Comments will be addressed to the board president. Comments will be made on one issue at a time. Comments will be limited to 5 minutes. No audience member shall be recognized twice until all who have wished to comment have been recognized. This portion of the meeting is for public comments only. There is no questions to be answered. The purpose of this board meeting is to perform our business in public. Everyone is entitled to a public comment. If there is a question for the board, there is an established chain of command to follow. If you would like to make a public comment, please raise your hand. First lady right here.
Good evening, everyone. I'm a student of Lacey Township High School. I'm in 10th grade, and I've been doing marching band for 2 years now. Before I came to high school, I was extremely lost, nervous, scared, and anxious. A friend suggested I join marching band, so I thought I'd give it a try, and I saw the marching band and color guard perform before at football games, and I thought it was really cool, so I joined. Going into 9th grade, I was depressed and anxious, but as the marching band season progressed, I found my second family. I realized that this is what I was supposed to be doing. I finally found something that was really me. Mr. Montague has made a safe place for us. We can go into his room and feel like we belong no matter what. We are safe from being bullied. We feel appreciated and worthy when we are with him. Monty is the one who made this safe place. He is the one who helped me branch out and truly find out who I am. He taught me confidence and honesty. I wouldn't be able to talk and be standing here today without him. He helped me find me. He saved me. Monty pulled me out of dark places in my life, and he's done that for so many others. As performing arts students, we are not always the popular kids. We aren't athletes, but Monty has made us feel popular, important, safe, and most of all, that we belong. With all the tragedies that Lacey Township students have experienced this year, we cannot afford the layoff of our teachers. Our mental health cannot do it. And losing Monty or any of the other teachers that have impacted our student body is unacceptable. Without teachers like Monty, there wouldn't be a safe place for students to feel like they belong. There wouldn't be a place where our mental health was safe. Monty is my person. He has taught me that being me is enough and that I am important. So I beg you to fix this horrific financial situation that our school district is in. The students are the ones that are suffering because of financial decisions that our district and our state have made. A solution needs to be figured out. We need to keep all of our valuable teachers and programs. Thank you for allowing me to speak tonight. I know that all of you want to do what's best for us kids. Hopefully that's why you're on the Board of Education. So please do what's right for us and make a difference in our lives. Thank you.
we have somebody else for public comment? In the white? Yep.
Good evening, members of the board. I am a student of Lacey Township Schools. As you may have seen, there's a petition going around. There's multiple petitions going around. One with over 12,000 signatures, or 1,200 signatures. All of these petitions show the public support for our education, which is slowly being taken away. I do understand that you, the board, do not decide our budget for the year, but you do decide who gets laid off. And I understand there's a process. This is the second year in a row where not only a band teacher is being laid off, but there are multiple extra teachers. You would never cut a sports teacher. Adding to that, Coach Versillo is making, to my understanding, almost $200,000 a year. But you choose to lay off the other teachers. Music is an asset for the kids to get away from life, things, and other things they are struggling with. You might say, well, we have other music teachers, but what you may not realize is that Mr. Montague's students have built a connection with him. He's not only a teacher, but a role model. I would like to leave you with this quote by Hans Christian Andersen. When words fail, music speaks. Thank you for your time.
Anyone else?
My name is Sarah Newman. I've been one of Mr. Montague's students for about 3 years now. It started off when my middle school band teacher was deployed about halfway through the school year. Along with other teachers, Mr. Montague helped to fill in. This was also the year I joined marching band. When I joined, I knew nothing about it whatsoever, other than how to simply play the flute, which I was not very good at either. Despite this, Mr. Montague never minded. He has always put so much effort into our marching band every year, and I genuinely don't think anyone understands the full extent of how much he cares. Mr. Montague is one of the most compassionate teachers I have ever met. I have never felt safer in a classroom, or in a teacher's presence for that matter, than I do with Mr. Montague. He forms bonds with each of his students and takes interest in each one of them, whether they are in his guitar classes, public speaking, or any of the bands. He speaks to his students with such respect as well. I always know that Mr. Montague will welcome me and any friends I bring to his room, despite the fact that oftentimes he has stayed up most of the night before working on something for band. My friend started a petition to save Mr. Montague, which has gained the attention of a local radio station as well as a local news article. This petition has reached over 1,300 signatures in the past 5 days. That is over 1,300 people who care about Mr. Montague. Over 1,300 people who want Mr. Montague to stay at this school. Over 1,300 reasons for him to stay. With this, I beg you to reconsider this decision. Mr. Montague is a safe place for everyone who gets to know him, and I cannot imagine the school without him. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm a student here at LTHS, and I would like to open by saying that I have no intention in slandering or speaking poorly of anybody, because I know that no one is really in control of this tonight. So I'd like to thank you for your attention, and I will begin. I've been a student here for 3 years now. I'm a junior. I've been working with Mr. Montague since I was 12 years old, in the 8th grade. I've been working with his bands and his programs ever since. I recently switched instruments, and I now play a different instrument in concert band, and now I'm now a member of the Lacey Township High School Jazz Band. I'm supporting them tonight. I'd like to speak here tonight because I need to share my personal experiences with him. He has done nothing but support me in my decisions. Every instrument switch I decide to do, every lesson I take, he's by my side and ready to support me. I know you all understand the difference that he makes, and I'm here to just advocate for that. No matter who you need or what you're feeling, he's always by your side, and he's ready to listen to what you have to say. If there was any teacher in the building that I'd be most comfortable with talking to or speaking to with any matter, is him. He's been nothing but support for me in my years here, and he will continue to be support for me in my future years. And I'd like to say that with these budget cuts and the teachers that we're losing, it comes a great loss and many hurt feelings. And it is none of your faults, and I respect every single one of you up here for listening to me tonight, and I do not blame anybody in this room because it is not our faults. All I'm doing is sharing my feelings. He's very important to me personally and our system here. Without him, we would have no support during football games for the marching band. We would have no programs such as jazz band, and we'd have no festival, no competitions, no fundraising. And the concert band would not be able to put on concerts for us alongside of the choir. They assist each other, and him and Mr. Olender are in assistance all the time. He helps with sound, and we appreciate it. And overall, he's just a constant chair to sit on for when we need him, and he's always there for us. Thank you.
Hi. Ladies and gentlemen of the board, I'm a student of Lacey Township High School. I wanted to talk a little bit today about one of my personal favorite teachers, Mr. Montague. As many of my friends up here have been saying today, bear with me a little bit because I'm probably going to reiterate what some of them have drawn on. I've been involved in the arts since 4th grade. Something about the music in elementary school drew me in, and I knew it was a place that I would feel safe. Throughout my time in almost all of your Lacey Township district schools, I have seen many different types of music teachers, all with different styles of teaching. I can say without hesitation, Mr. Montague, or Monty as his students call him, is the very best and most dedicated teacher I've seen. He's sacrificed time with his family and time with his friends just to support us kids. I met Monty in the summer into 8th grade. I was having a really hard time in my middle school fitting in, and I found a sort of refuge in the performing arts department, much to my other teachers' dismay. My band teacher at the time told me about the Lacey Marching Band and that you could join even before high school. I always went to the football games when I was little and was mesmerized by the way that they played. The halftime show was always my favorite part. I was a little nervous about the idea of the whole school seeing me, but after meeting with Monty before I joined, he seemed safe and trustworthy enough that I gave it a try. I have now been in marching band going on my 4th year in June, and it is one of the best decisions I've made here. It is such a safe space, and it fostered the type of community that I and so many others were looking for. He cares about every single student there, no matter their skill level and no matter where they came from. In concert band, he's the same way. In the winter of my freshman year, I was dealing with a lot and was probably in one of the darkest points of my life. One thing I could always rely on, however, was Monty's door being open. For lunch, during class, whenever you needed him, to provide help in any way he could, whether it just be someone to talk to or just a place to stay. Without that door being open, I would have not made nearly as many connections as I have, or have met some of my best friends in my support system here at Lacey. What I would like for the board to consider today is not only Mr. Montague's value as a music and band teacher, but also as an invaluable educator. I was lucky enough to be offered a place in the Leadership Academy my freshman year. The class he taught, with another one of my teachers, Miss Dijon, was public speaking. The whole class heard that the first day, and, as you would imagine, turned white. Monty assured us that by the end we would be okay, and he was right. I watched as a class where no one would talk turned into a class that was comfortable working with anyone else in the group, no matter what type of clique or place they came from in the high school was. This is solely because of Mr. Montague's teaching. In conclusion, he has made a lasting impression on not only my life, but every other student who came to talk today, and his dismissal will not only be missed but grieved. And to the end of that, as many of you know, we have lost 5 Lacey Township School District students this year. Out of those, 3 of them were seniors. Kids who had waited 12 years to finally walk across that stage suddenly are going to be missing from the student body. With that being said, and as the mental health crisis of the school rages on, why must you insist on taking away another safe space for the students? Thank you.
Hello, my name is Lee Falvey. Oh, sorry, I'm a student at Lacey Township High School.
Thank you.
First of all, I want to acknowledge that I understand you are not responsible for the loss of state aid. However, since I was 5 years old, you guys have shown me that the Lacey Township School District is not interested in the mental health of its students. You taught me way too early what it is like to be let down by an institution. You mentioned in your presentation earlier that Lacey is not responsible for this spending problem, which I'm going to say you have a spending problem. Your head football coach makes over 6 figures, and so do you. You can't afford to keep unanimously appreciated teachers, but you are completely fine spending $200,000 on a roof, if you can call it that, in the courtyard. But not the roof for this school. There are literally leaks in the ceiling now, right now, as we speak. This is not counting the fact that you guys treat the staff horribly to begin with. Ask anyone in here, and they will tell you that they are not being paid nearly enough for what they are doing and on the accommodations that they are giving students. Nor do you give them the resources that they need to retain these unnecessarily high salaries of some of the elites here. You are firing teachers that you have a privilege to have in the first place. You simply do not know what is going to be coming in the next few years. This is the end of an era, the last time you can truly say that this school was okay. This is disgraceful. You don't care. I will never feel protected nor represented by this district. I need you to recognize the cognitive dissonance in saying that you do not have a spending problem and learn how to allocate your money more effectively. There was a point in time where my sibling was minutes away from suicide. The only reason they are still alive is because of Mr. Fritz and his compassion and urge to remind them that life is truly worth living. If Fritz was not here, neither would them. I had Mr. Fritz for German 2, and he was always upbeat, helpful, and understanding. I always felt safe in his class, and I was dealing with a multitude of health issues, which he was extremely accommodating for. Now, I want to talk about my experience sophomore year. I was lost. I suffered from extreme depression and anxiety. One of the only places I felt safe was Miss Corliss's classroom. She does not work here anymore. She fell victim to Lacey's relentless urge to let students and staff down and was unfortunately purged in last year's budget cut. If Miss Corliss wasn't there to remind me that everything was going to be okay, that I was not crazy, and didn't give me the advice that my counselors simply were not giving, I would not be standing here right now. She is the reason why I am still alive. We have dealt with so many tragic suicides this year. And I'm not saying the budget cuts are inherently causing this, but what I can truly say is that if Miss Corliss's employment kept me from being another statistic, and I had just been 1 year behind, I would be dead. Mr. Farina, he was my financial literacy teacher for 3rd period. He is the only teacher I've ever met who is as understanding as he is. As someone with ADHD, he has made incredible accommodations to me, helping me reach my full potential, and I have learned so much in his class, which you should probably take, by the way. Mrs. DeJean, also not up for rehire next year, was the teacher who my sibling student taught with last year. She was incredibly open to their ideas and teaching styles. Ms. DeJean was also incredibly understanding when it came to my depression and anxiety my sophomore year. Her class was where I learned to love literature. This decision is disgraceful. I wouldn't even be able to show my face if I was in your position. However, once again, you have established time and time again that you do not care. And can't help you do that. But what I can say is that you guys do not represent me. You dare to say a tradition of pride, a tradition of excellence on your website and the flyers you gave me when I walked through the door. Ask anybody in here if you truly take pride in anything but your bank accounts. Dr. Pereira, Dr. Zielinski make both more than $160,000 individually. If you were good people who truly cared about us, you would resign. The Board of Education should also reverse these absolutely disgusting decisions. I'm sorry you can't allocate your funds, and I wish you felt an ounce of remorse for the things that happen under your jurisdiction. Lee Falvey.
Thank you for your comments.
Hi, I am a member of Lacey Township Middle School, and I'm going to be reading behind a high schooler who could not make it tonight. So, the budget cut has deeply affected me since we as a district will now be losing several teachers that meant so much to not only me, but many others. Mr. Montague is one of the most important people to my school life and has forever changed both me as a person and my outlook on the world. I used to be a very reclusive and socially anxious person. Though band, Monty helped me open up and become the responsible and confident leader I am today. I cannot thank him enough. Since 7th grade, he has helped me grow and thrive as both a musician and a person. My mental health has struggled and has had its up and downs over the year, but Mr. Montague has always been there for me and has taken time out of his busy day to sit down next to me and talk me through things when I cried in his room. He has always been so kind, encouraging, and understanding to not only me, but every student he's met, not only during marching band season, but even just in my typical school life. He has made my days infinitely brighter and made it so much easier for me to wake myself up in the morning and come to school with something to look forward to. Mr. Montague is such a special part of not only our musical family, but our district as a whole. And losing him to budget cuts and reduction in force would devastatingly blow me personally. Let alone our whole family of musicians here at LTHS, and it would truly never be the same without him. He has forever changed LTHS band programs and has made us the absolute best we can be. And it is clear that he deeply cares for all of us. It would be a tragic loss for us to lose him and many other teachers. And so I hope that we as a district can stick together and make a change for the teachers like Mr. Montague. If not, get him back and stop these cuts as a whole. We need to come together and stop the unfair budget cuts of our school. And as me personally, I have had no bigger supporter for marching band, color guard, other than Mr. Montague.
Thank you for your comment.
Good evening, everyone. My name is John Tominal, and I am the Vice President of the sophomore class and also part of the Leadership Academy at the Lacey Township High School. I would just like to say I'm very disappointed that so many teachers are being let go this year. Our high school years are some of the most important years of each student at this high school because some of us have to get into colleges, the military, or vocational school. If we don't have the education that we need and deserve, how will our futures look? I'm extremely disappointed that I'm losing my ELA teacher and former public speaking teacher, Ms. Dijon, and I'm also losing my former other public speaking teacher, Mr. Montague, as they were both two of the major people I was able to talk to in my freshman year. I was very nervous walking in. And I also hope that with these budget cuts, that the Board of Ed is not planning to get rid of the Leadership Academy, as that it is one of the academies I'm able to actually be myself in. I hope that you reconsider what you are doing to our high school teachers and find some funding from some other place. I also hope that you keep on fighting and everybody in this audience keeps on fighting for our students. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your comment.
Sorry, give me a minute. Hello, I'm a student of Lacey Township Middle School, and I would like to discuss the budget cuts and the things that are affected by them. First topic I would like to talk about is teachers getting let go because of these cuts. Around 57 teachers are getting cut. A lot of these teachers, in my opinion, do not deserve to lose their jobs. If you are going to let these teachers and staff members go, they should be teachers that deserve to be let go. Teachers that don't care about their students. Teachers that make students feel unsafe or uncomfortable. Teachers who fail to properly educate students. I myself went to a teacher for my mental health because I was struggling with grief recently, and she gave me a death threat, and she isn't losing her job. She's keeping it. I think it is very unfair that the qualifications aren't based on performance and are based on seniority. If you can do anything to change that, I feel like it would be a great help to everyone. The second topic I would like to talk about is how the budget cuts will affect the classroom. Over 40 kids would be placed into one classroom, and that would lead way for struggling students to slip through the cracks and go unnoticed and unhelped. These students who are struggling may just be seen as bad students who aren't good enough at doing schoolwork. And won't be able to get the help that they need. Not to mention that it'll put a massive amount of stress on not just the students, but the teachers as well. It is already hard enough for teachers to teach a room full of 15 to 20 kids. Just imagine how hard it would be to teach twice this number. I would greatly appreciate if you could probably figure out a way to help, and new and more helpful ways to deal with these budget cuts. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment.
I really wasn't going to plan on saying anything. My name is Jen Varga. I would say about 2-3 years ago, I used to work as a substitute within this school district, and it didn't matter what school I was in, every single teacher, paraprofessional, and Mr. Fiedler was like the best principal I have ever had the chance to have come across my way. I am now in a school district. I have my own classroom, and the things that I do in my classroom is a direct reflection on the teachers that are here. Mr. Fritz, every day, I would want to say hello to him in a different language. I would look up how to say good morning in a different language, and we would sit there and talk. I have a picture of him and Mr. Grillon giving my daughter her diploma at graduation. I had kids go through this district. I was in this district as an employee. And what is happening is horrific. No teacher in this district should be losing their job. We should be fighting every single person, not only for them to keep their jobs, but, by the way, to keep our taxes down. Because the only way you're going to make up for the shortfall is to raise our taxes above a 2%. I can't afford that. I don't know anybody else in this room that can afford that. I don't make that much money as a teacher, as I'm sure the other teachers will tell you. We don't make a lot. We sometimes have to work 2 jobs. And now you're going to get rid of teachers like Mr. Montague, that you've had every single student tell you what he's done. There's a mental health crisis in this school district. Now you're going to add on top of that mental health crisis with these students to the teachers, because they're going to be so stressed, overworked, underpaid, and where do they go? Who are they going to say anything to? If we don't fight for them now, and you don't fight as our school board, there's going to be a major issue. And then these children that are the ones that are going to take care of all of us when we're old aren't going to be able to do it because they don't have the proper education. That's what should be said to the state. Not why do we have this? How about we figure out why we can't get loans? That would be the why, not why did you take $6 million away and give it to another school district. I work in a county, they got all of the money. Newark school system has a school budget of $1 billion, $1 billion. They have 32,000 students. Maybe they deserve that money, but we do too. We have some fantastic children in this town. Fantastic. I am proud to say that I know a lot of these students. I remember some of them, and I remember some of the teachers that are sitting in this audience. And these are the teachers that always had a kind word for me. I was a substitute. I've been in other districts, and I could tell you they never treated me as good as this district did. And it didn't matter that my daughter was here. That's the kind of people you have working for you. Please try to do something to get some kind of money without raising our taxes, because I can't afford to live in Lacey if that happens. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you for your comment.
Hi, I'm Carissa Falvey. I was a student here a few years ago, and I actually did part of my student teaching here. I was here when the first round of teachers last year was let go, and I remember going into the hallway after school with my co-op, Samantha Dijon, who is an amazing woman, an amazing educator. I can wholeheartedly say that it was her direction and her instruction and her help that made me the teacher that I am now, because I have graduated. I remember going out into that hallway and talking to all of the English department and half of the people that were let go, that were crying because they got that notification while they were still teaching. The elementary school teachers also got it while they were still teaching, and I know that because all of my friends were student teaching in the elementary schools and had to watch their teachers or their co-ops try to get through the day, knowing that they probably would have no jobs and no job security come a few months. Seeing that as someone who's going into education really showed me it was a reality check of what I was in store for, and I'm still doing it. I'm a teacher now, and I was one of Mr. Fritz's students. I am the aforementioned sibling that was minutes away from killing themselves in this school because of the bullying I faced, because of everything going on in my life that no one in administration seemed to want to help me with, even though they knew about it. It was my teachers that saved my life. It was Mrs. Sullivan, it was Mr. Grillon, it was Mrs. Soto, it was Mr. Fritz, it was Mr. Olander, it was Monty, even though I didn't have him. He gave me a home when I didn't have one. But I don't want to talk about me for this whole time. I want to talk about one of my students who came to me the other day and told me that she didn't want to get up in the morning anymore, and told me that she was afraid to go home. It was like I had a flashback to being in this school, but I was on the other side of this conversation. I thought back to my teachers. I specifically thought back to Mr. Fritz when I told him the same thing, that it was hard for me to get up in the morning and that I didn't want to be here anymore. He looked me in the eyes and he said, "Carissa, I will be here for you. You do not have to worry about my class. You will never have to worry about anything in here. I will help you get through this. I will get you help. Please don't make me go to another kid's funeral." That changed my life. That moment made me want to be a teacher because all I want to do is pay that forward. So when I was talking to my student, I looked her in the eyes and I said the exact same thing that Mr. Fritz said to me. She started crying, she hugged me, and I am getting her help. But it's because of Mr. Fritz that I knew how to handle that. It was because of Mr. Fritz that I have the passion to do what I'm doing. I'm not doing education because it's a fallback. I'm not doing education because, I don't know, I just felt like we're super well paid and super appreciated and underworked, okay? I'm in this for the kids. And when I got to pay forward Mr. Fritz's kindness and Mrs. Sullivan's kindness and Mrs. Soto's kindness and Mr. Grillon's kindness, even Samantha Dijon's kindness to me when I was there, because I saw how she treated all of her kids. When I got to pay that forward, I saw that my teachers didn't just save my life, but they saved my student's life. And I found out 10 minutes after that conversation with my student that Mr. Fritz is one of these teachers that is being let go. I found out that Monty is one of those teachers being let go. Monty wasn't even my teacher. I was in choir, I was in theater, I wasn't in band, but his room was always open to me no matter what. He didn't care who I was, he just wanted to keep kids alive and safe. You are affecting the lives of students. These teachers not only saved my life, they're saving my students' lives. And I am remiss if I don't get up here and talk about the teachers that saved my brother's life, that saved my life, and that are saving my kids' lives and will continue to do so. Because I know that I wasn't 1 in a million, I was 1 in maybe 20. I know my best friend is over there right now and can say the same things about Mr. Fritz, but probably won't. You have teachers that are being paid way too much. And by teachers, I mean like coaches. I mean like, you know, Coach Russillo, who's like the highest paid teacher in New Jersey. And what does he do except for call his students like fat pigs and lazy? Oh yeah, that happened to me. That's something that happened here. Yeah, say that. I'll say that. We have teachers here that creep on the kids. Let's be honest, we all know about it. We all know. Okay? Where are those teachers getting their pink slips? Where are those teachers? Where is the teacher that used to, in front of me, make me accept his compliments and in order to go to the bathroom because all the bathrooms are locked? Where are the teachers that couldn't care less about me? Where's the teachers that have these, like, you know, open cases against them? Where are they in all of this? They have, like, a lot of job security, and that kind of makes me mad. Or how about we just, like, I don't know, you're choosing the wrong teachers, guys. The wrong people. And maybe I should be more eloquent, maybe I should be more careful, maybe I shouldn't be shaking as I'm talking to you because I'm supposed to be this like beacon of respectability and responsibility, but that's never who I was and that's not who I am. Anyone who knew me when I was in high school knew I was a mess, I was insane, I was loud, but they got me through. They kept me alive. These teachers keep people alive and you're just choosing the wrong people, guys. That's all.
Thank you for your comment.
Hi, forgive me. I wasn't planning on saying anything, but that was pretty moving. My name is Lucas Bernaldo. I'm a parent. I have 2 kids in the district. And yeah, I agree with all these kids up here. I agree with what she's saying. We need the arts. We need these teachers. And I also understand where you guys are coming from. It's a hard job to have, right? You're charged with balancing a budget where you have numbers and you have income and revenue and you have expenditures coming out. But at the end of the day, your job is to balance, right? And your job is to look at those line items and those expenditures. And in my opinion, and I think in everybody else's opinion, no teacher should be losing their job here. It's not about who's good and who's bad. And yes, we have overpaid, coaches and stadiums named after people that probably shouldn't be. And that's regardless of the fact here. These teachers should all have their job. We need all of them, from K through 12, just like we need all of you. You need to stand by them, not look at the budget and look at what the biggest piece of the pie is and start slashing it. Because that's what you do, and I get it, you're scared. The state started pulling money, and where are we going to find it from? But it's not from their pocket. It's not from their job security. It's not from how they're going to pay their mortgage or their benefits or their pensions or any of that. Maybe we stop fertilizing the soccer fields. Maybe we get creative. We don't need green grass to play soccer, do we? You need to stand by your employees, by the members of the community, the people that are leading our kids, and stop just handing out pink slips. Every year it's something else. Every year it's somebody's losing their job, and then we all get up in arms and come here, and then you magically find the money. And we're sick of it. My family are teachers in this district. My kids come here. I moved to Lacey for a better life for my kids and my family. And I get it. People don't like property taxes. I'm a different view. I want you to go over 2% cap. I think that we should be paying. I think that we should be funding our school district for our kids. We have the property value here, and we have it, and we should be funding this school district for our kids. Just like Jersey City and Newark deserve their money, so do we. So I know it's hard, and I get it, but you got to find the money. These people deserve their jobs. You're cutting the wrong thing here. Find it. Give them their jobs back. Thank you.
Hi, I'm a student here at Lacey. I've been here for 1 year, and I'm part of the arts program. Growing up, I was a really insecure child, really insecure about my weight, and Montague helped me go over with my goals and not me feel like a fat loser anymore. And if we cut these arts, we are losing a safe haven for these kids. I don't know what else to do. Montague and O are the only people I can go to about my problems, especially with my grief about my grandma's death and my uncle's suicide. They're the only people I can go to anymore. No one else will listen. If we lose them, kids will not have someone to talk to. Just please try to keep their jobs. Thank you.
Thanks for your time.
Good evening. My name is Mary Jo Iachetta, President of the Lacey Township Education Association. And I'm here tonight to talk about the devastating S2 cuts that will negatively affect our school district as we know and love. The loss of funding for the 24-25 school year will cause us to lose quality and terrific staff. Staff who have put their dedication, sweat, and tears into the betterment of our students and the future of our community. The state funding cuts that we are facing pose a significant threat to our district, jeopardizing the valuable educators who have dedicated themselves to our students' successes. Additionally, and importantly, our esteemed arts, athletics, and extracurricular programs known for their achievements and accolades are going to be paid to participate. Elective courses across the district will be reduced. Crucial services for our special needs students who make up our most vulnerable student population. And let's not forget the adverse effect that these cuts will have on our students' mental health. I am here tonight to reach out and rally the support from our community. Our community. It's not just the school board, it's not just our local state, it's our community. We cannot face these challenges alone anymore. We need your help, and we need it now. The impact of these cuts extend far beyond our schools. They are affecting the entire town and the community that we call home. The repercussions of these state cuts will be long-lasting and devastating. We implore you, as your staff, please, to raise your voices of support. Write those letters, make those calls, reach out to our governor, our local senators, our representative, our assemblyman, commissioner of education, the state budget. Use your social media, tag, share. Together we can make a difference and safeguard the future of our students, staff, and community. If our funding is not restored to previous levels, Lacey will face a future of education that will be completely a different landscape than anyone in this town has ever seen or experienced. Everyone. And just to put that into perspective, what we are losing for next year, 33 staff members, some of whom have been discussed here tonight. your children, grandchildren, nieces, nephews, neighbors, class sizes swelling to 40 plus. And 57 more staff members on top of the 33 already let go, for a total loss of 90 staff members who play a vital role in supporting our students. Take that picture. That is what we want to share. That is what the state, that is what the town, this is what community means. This is what we face moving forward if we do not get our funding restored. These challenges will not resolve themselves. We must face them as a unified, united community. Our children, town, and staff deserves better. This is why it is so crucial that our town, parents, and community organizations go on your social media, call, write, and request to meet with our elected state officials. Let your voices be heard for the betterment of our students, staff, and community at large. Thank you for your time, consideration, and support for our beloved Lacey community. Please stay updated on all developments by visiting the Lacey Township School District website and click on S2 Pathways to Advocacy. Thank you.
Hi, Elisa Waller, Crestwood Drive. I read once that the two most important days of your life are the day you were born and the day you figure out why. These students have figured out why today, and tomorrow it could be another why. And I stand behind them. And I also stand behind all our teachers as a fellow teacher. I pray for them, and I hope it works out. I also wanted to point out the hypocrisy that I saw here tonight and kind of the irony at the beginning of our night, how we paid tribute to all the great things that our district does by video, as all of you stepped down to let us enjoy that show and pointed it out after, the arts, the music. And I wanted to... The other hypocrisy that I noticed is that you've had that check up there the entire night. And that's a check for mental health. And you want to check art and music for mental health. Yes. And as I'll say, as I end, I stand behind these students, these activists, just as the activists at Columbia University are acting on their behalf for their future. These people are our future, and we need to listen. This district will fall apart without this and the arts. Thank you.
Okay, we started at 5 o'clock today. We're going to take a quick 10-minute break. You're more than welcome to stay and speak. We have 100% time for you, but we need a break. We've been in a meeting in private session since 5 o'clock. We'll be back at 9:10. Thank you. Let's bring the order back to order. Anyone else for public comment?
For public comment.
Please state your name and address.
Good evening. My name is Ron Parry. I live on Seagull Drive. Just want to start off by saying I have a unique view of this. I myself served on a board of education in another district years ago. I'm also a parent of a middle schooler and a high schooler, and I'm also a substitute teacher, so I see this from many angles. And I'm looking at your things you put out, and some of these things are a little alarming to me.
Can you more clarify what you're looking at, sir?
Yeah, it was something that came with what the 7 million in reductions look like. It was part of your thing that you put out this morning or this afternoon. First off, I'm sure you all understand that school is more than just reading, writing, and arithmetic. You're dealing with kids. Some, when they're very young, they're minds of mush that you get to mold and teach and turn them into well-rounded individuals. That's part of what an education is. It's not just learning math. It's not just learning social studies. It's things like music, okay? It gives them a place to go. If you never played an instrument, you wouldn't understand the hand-eye coordination that you get to develop. If you talk to some surgeons, they will tell you they develop that great hand-eye coordination from learning an instrument. It's things like you're asking kids to pay to play sports. Do you all realize that for some, that is their only opportunity to get into college via scholarship? You're going to take that opportunity away from them. All right? You're asking them to pay for clubs. All right? If you look at our political system, we're in the shitter. Excuse my language. If you take that opportunity for clubs, I was president in college. I was president of a Circle K club. In high school, I was the president of Key Club, which is Kiwanis, similar to what the great people, the Rotary, that gave you. All right, this is where your leaders are going to come from. You're going to take all this out. Yes, you're going to graduate children that will know about civics. They'll know how to add and subtract, maybe. Like I said, I'm a substitute. Some of these things I see really blows my mind. All right? You're looking to take away. You're taking away, what does it say? 57 teachers and staff this year. My understanding is you took away more last year. What are you going to take more next year? All right, the other thing I want to address is you got this check for mental health. You guys have a mental health crisis in this district. All right? 4 students. 5? 5 died total. 1 in an accident. Not his fault. But 4 students decided the ultimate thing for them was to take their own lives. Okay? I worked as a medic for 37 years before I became a substitute in another district. I myself survived a suicide attempt. I've seen both sides. You guys did absolutely nothing except an after thing. I went to the middle school and said, look, I can come in and do a program for you and talk to the kids and show them and tell them both sides of what it is and what happens when somebody does that. You know what I was told? We don't want to do anything like that. We have crisis counselors, which is something for after the fact, but we don't want to do any kind of programs because we don't want to glorify it. You're not glorifying anything. You're shoving it under the rug. Please make that go to good use. Okay, because if you've never had to stand in front of a parent after working on their child whose last resort was to take their own life, you have no idea what that's like. And I hope you never, ever have to do that. All right? But you're going to take away, I don't even know the gentleman. Mr. Montague. I don't even know him other than I just found out he's actually my son's history of rock and roll teacher. You're going to take somebody like that away? It's a safe place. And yes, trust me, I was on a board of ed. I understand the position you're in. It's not an easy one to be in. It's not easy for you. It's not easy for the staff. It's not easy for the kids. But you have to think of them first. Because right here is our future. This is our future. And right now, I want to weep for our future because they're going to end up with less than a well-balanced education. And if that happens, it's going to be on all of you. Because yes, I know the state's cutbacks, they don't want to give you money, they don't want to do this. And you know what? I was on a Board of Ed for 6 years, and it was the same BS every year. We're cutting back, we're not giving you. And then you put the pressure on, and you put the pressure on the people. You can only raise their taxes 2% unless you get a variance. All right? And in the end, you wind up finding it somewhere. Rather than losing good teachers, rather than putting more stress on these kids, do it now. You're going to put 40 kids in a classroom? I know how disruptive it could be as a substitute with 20 kids in a classroom. You're going to double that and have kids standing on top of each other? Teachers aren't going to be able to teach. They're going to be too busy telling 10 over here and 5 over there to be quiet so that they can try to do their job. That's the future. It's in your hands. You need to do the right thing. Thank you. And before I go mute, sorry.
Yeah, you're fine.
But that program, anytime any of the schools want it, I would be more than happy to come in and do it.
I just state my name and no address, right? Is that what you guys?
Say your name and address.
Okay. Morgan Charterina Sullivan, 907 Tappan Street, Forked River. There's a couple things I want to say, and I will say it very shortly and try to wrap it up. I do not know Mr. Montague. I was not even going to mention his name. However, these children are counting on that man to continue to stay in this high school, and hearing their hearts, I would plead with you all that that would not be a cut that you would make, because these children will be gravely affected by that decision. And I don't know the children. I only hear their hearts as a mother because I'm a mother. I also wanted to say overcrowded schools. This is a very hard reality that Lacey Township needs to face. But the police are in our schools now more than they're not. Middle school specifically. I go there to pick my kid up or to be dealing with an issue with my child, and the cops are always there. Detective Baldassari should just be stationed there. He's there so much. That is before the cuts that will be made. Now, if we cut more paras out of any of those schools, areas in the middle school, you guys are outnumbered. You already have parents that are not parenting their kids. Kids that are not listening, kids that are kids are wilding out right now. It is nuts in Lacey Township, and if we take more teachers out, the ratio is gonna be jacked. That's what I wanted to say, and really try to get that through. And I know that you guys can't do much, but I'm gonna tell you what we can do on the last thing that I say. So, overcrowded schools. I also want to say, we're counting on you guys. We voted for a lot of you, for your boldness, for what you guys said that you can do. 2019, and I was going to talk about this last, 2019, a bunch of us went to Trenton and we killed the bill. And we stopped something really bad from happening. Now we're counting on you guys to do something similar. We could get busloads of every single school that is getting cut too, and we could do more than write letters, and we could do more than just make phone calls. We could show up at Trenton, and we can make noise, make our voices truly be heard. Because nobody's gonna hear us unless we make noise. And I understand maybe it's not you guys, but no more cuts can be made for these teachers. Mrs. Artali, okay, that's another thing I wanted to say. And then I'm gonna close it with this. Mrs. Artali, Michelle Artali, my daughter asked her own, Mrs. Artali and Mr. Taha, two amazing teachers. My daughter asked other teachers repeatedly, okay, for a letter of recommendation for her college, repeatedly. My daughter is mild and meek and doesn't really want to go out there and be bold like her mama, so she didn't keep asking them aggressively, but she asked them until she finally came to me and said, her own teachers that are highly paid, Mom, I don't know, they're not giving it to me, they must be really busy. I said, Angie, ask Mrs. Artali. Not even 24 hours later, Mrs. Artali had produced a letter of recommendation for my daughter, as did Mr. Taha. Those teachers like that, teachers that are underpaid, those are the ones that are fighting for our kids, and those are the ones that have to stay. And I do want to go to Trenton, and I will help fight, and I will get on that list, and if you guys are all about it, let's do it. We're counting on you. We need your boldness. The ones that we voted for, that we believed were ready to go out there and make a change. We believe in you guys. Come fight with us. I'm not blaming you. I get it. It's Murphy. Let's go against Murphy and fight together. Thank you.
My name's Stuart McKenzie.
Sir, I have this girl in white in the glasses coming up next.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
She's been waiting a while. All right. It doesn't matter. Either one of you.
Just do rock, paper, scissors.
Hi, I am a student at Lacey Township High School. I'm speaking as a student, and I would like to address the recent teacher cuts due to the lack of money that the state is giving us. Although this realistically will not help the teachers who were laid off come back, I would like to share how cutting these teachers will result for the students. This letter is primarily about Mr. Fritz, the German teacher and swim coach for LTHS. Fritz has a great compassion for learning and truly enjoys his job and preaches education for his students. I can name countless teachers who come into school, have an undesire to teach, and genuinely complain about their jobs every single day. Unlike those teachers, Mr. Fritz genuinely enjoys teaching and coaching. He always has a smile on his face every single day, even though he gets up at 4:30 in the morning just to come and coach girls swim. This passion will be taken away at the end of the year because the state's ways of budgeting have failed Lacey school systems. I am not exactly sure what the state of New Jersey is doing with the money we are fundraising for, but clearly it isn't being spent responsibly. As a junior in high school, I've known Fritz for 3 years, and I can proudly say he is more than just a German teacher. He is an amazing person too. He has a family and travels an hour every single day and night just to come here and teach. That shows how loyal and dedicated he is just to this system, and you guys are just going to cut him. Mr. Fritz has been there for countless students, as people have shared their stories about him helping them with suicide. You can also ask other teachers and workers, such as Mr. Sicardo and Mr. Sotero, and they will tell you every single morning there is a group of girls in his room asking for countless advice and coming to him crying or overall excited. And I can happily say that I am one of those girls who are always there coming in his room, and he always knows how to put a smile on everybody's faces. He is truly an intelligent person to be around, and the school would wholeheartedly be depressing without him. Hundreds of students get excited to see him every single day and mention the good and the bad in their life and have him just listen and communicate with them. When I'm too scared to go to guidance to speak about personal problems or go to other teachers, I go to him, and he is always there to help. And it's not just me who he's helping countless of other peoples. Our school has been incredibly affected from these budget cuts because the state of New Jersey refuses to help us. However, this just doesn't justify the teachers being cut from the district, and finding temporary solutions to avoid spending more money is not actually fixing it. All of the strategies that you guys are using to try and help us isn't really helping us in the long run. We're just going to have to keep coming back to the problems of cutting more and more teachers, clubs, and having to pay for more sports. This is the second year that multiple valuable assets of Lacey Township have been cut to save money. However, why are the schools continuously in debt if we are cutting so many teachers? With there now being 2 budget cuts in teachers, it shows the way we are budgeting our money is clearly not helping our school system at all, and it is affecting our teachers and students. As I previously stated, I am only a high school student, but there are teachers who feel the exact same way as me. Removing teachers is also going to crowd classrooms and make everybody more stressed and anxious. With 40 kids in a class and the limited AC that we already have, it's going to cause health risks and more hazards. Our language classes specifically are essential because now when you go to colleges, they look for if you can speak another language, which is why Fritz being cut would put our school at a major disadvantage. His classrooms are filled with students who are passionate about learning German, and I know people who have been in his classes all the way up until AP German who have learned so much and can actually speak almost fluent German now. He can teach almost any year in German that we teach at the high school and has provided knowledge during his time at Lacey. Fritz has put a smile on countless people's faces, including mine. The swim team and his students are able to come to him with family issues, school issues, and even all these teacher cuts. We're able to go to him and talk about him, and he puts a smile on his face even though he knows that he is one who is getting let go. Fritz is the first teacher I've ever felt comfortable sharing my personal life with, and has truly saved me and several other students from going into Great Depression. Removing him from the district would only put students and other teachers who he is close friends with at a major loss. Also, the state needs to take the families into consideration. There are pregnant women who are being laid off currently, such as Miss Law and Miss Dijon, who will struggle to support their newborn children. Not only is this infuriating to students, but teachers as well. Students are supposed to feel comfortable and safe here, and every single year, with more and more cuts, you guys are failing to provide safety for us and calmness. We go to these teachers for support. Like every single one of these band kids has been saying, their teachers make them feel welcomed and safe, and you guys are just taking those people away from us. Not only is this affecting the students, but the teachers as well. The teachers are forced to keep their heads up high, even though their jobs are all on the line. They are all stressed and underpaid, and they are just freaking out. Although some teachers are highly qualified to find other jobs, it is very difficult with such short notice. The decisions being made by the Lacey education system is currently failing its students and teachers. As a township, we need to start doing better, raising more money, and caring about the future of Lacey Township. I know that the Board of Education is not entirely responsible for these budget cuts, but as someone on the swim team who has been in German with Fritz and asked the board to please take his considerations and talents into consideration. He is an amazing asset to the school district, so we have to do something. We all have to fight to make the budgets work and to fix our school system. Thank you for your time.
Hello, I'm a student at Lacey Township Middle School. I personally have been affected by the budget cuts. Last year, I lost a teacher that meant a lot to me, Mr. Browsum, who just happened to be a band teacher, just like Monty. Now, I don't know Mr. Monty. Now, I don't really know Mr. Monty, but from what I've heard, he is a great teacher. I think it's unfair that good teachers are being let go instead of the teachers that should be. The formerly mentioned staff member who sent death threats towards a friend, that is the same person who said the same thing to me. My friend and I were going to counselors for my personal grief. And this, after, my friend and I were going to this counselor to go talk to her about my grief of my brother committing suicide. This teacher decided that the best thing to say to me during that time was, if you talk about
that person I was having a problem with at the time again, I'm going to hang all of you. And I think that it's completely absurd that she would say something like that. And a teacher like that shouldn't have her job. Teachers that have been helping mental health, you've been taking away. Please reconsider some of the teachers you're taking away, because all these stories that I have heard, all the stories that you guys have been hearing, those are all teachers that have helped kids. And yes, thank you for listening. That's it.
No, this guy's going right here. This guy's from wait.
I am obviously not a student at high school here, but I'd be very proud to be their classmates. You have a lot of well-spoken kids here tonight. Now, for several years, obviously, you've been taking a cut on state aid. In all those years, how many times has the state granted you a budget waiver? In all those years, how many times have you spent up to cap?
All of them.
You've always spent up to cap. You've never asked for a waiver to go above.
Not during S2 cuts. The problem was, sir, that the state was taking more money from us year after year, more than we recoup with our 2% cap. So with our 2% cap, we're maxed out at a certain amount of money. That was it.
I understand.
But the state was taking out double, if not triple, of what our 2% cap was. And over the last years, we've been losing, not have enough money to make up. This year, they hit us with a 30%.
I know, the highest in the county.
I'm sorry?
You're the highest in the county,
We
30%.
understand that. Yes, trust me. Not in the state.
Not in the state, no.
You're at 31% negative. I looked at every single school system.
Okay.
You're the highest.
But have you applied for cap waivers?
When we can.
To go over and above your cap?
When we can, yes.
When you can.
We're not always eligible to apply, and there's an entire explanation and a formula.
I understand, because obviously if people don't spend to their cap, then the cap for the next year is on a lesser amount of money, and it's a house of cards. So if you've always spent to your cap, and when you are able to, and you applied for a cap waiver, then this is all on the state. But if you haven't spent to your cap, and you haven't asked for a waiver, then part of it's on you.
Hello. Hi. I'm a student at Lacey Township High School, and I wasn't planning on saying anything tonight, but some of the stories that I've heard from other students and teachers and whatnot really got to me, and I actually choked up. I think I walked into history a couple weeks ago, right before you guys made the cuts, and my history teacher told me that basically we have to walk on eggshells around all of the teachers because they would be losing their jobs. Realizing that is devastating, really. You realize you guys are making students who are not adults yet walk on eggshells around teachers because the teachers are emotionally unstable because you're firing them and not being supportive. All in all, I just think these teachers deserve better, and the students deserve better, because these teachers are the last bit of hope that some students have. So thank you, and I appreciate it.
Thank you for your comment.
Hello. I'm a freshman at Lacey Township High School.
First, I'd like to start off by talking about Mr. Montague being cut. Mr. Montague has been one of the most inspirational figures I've ever met. Monty has done so much for the students, band programs, and even the other arts. His past few years with Mr. Montague at Lacey Township High School, he's helped me with so much. 2 years ago, I was crushed with the diagnosis of type 1 diabetes. Unfortunately, not many teachers are well educated on how to help or support this condition. Mr. Montague, however, has saved my life several times. He can understand just by the sound of a beep what is going on with me and how to help me. He teaches several classes at this school. He teaches the concert band, jazz band, and marching band. I'm in all three, and he's helped me for the past 2 years with this. As a musician, he's helped me grow. As a person, he's helping me grow. These programs were left in shambles before he came here. He's truly created something special and incredible with this program. Not only have we increased, but last weekend we had placed second for our jazz band. Additionally, for the class of 2027, we have not had a stable band teacher since we were in 6th grade. We have lost Mr. Browsum, we have lost Mr. Bedore, and now we are losing Mr. Montague. Also, as mentioned earlier, it was stated that the jobs of people who were being cut was not based on their performance level. I think this is absurd. The performance level of teachers should be the reason that they are cut or that they are staying. This is their whole jobs. The whole purpose of a teacher is to help students grow and to guide them along their path. If they're not doing their jobs, they don't deserve to have them. For the people that are guiding us along our way to make us better people and growing up into young adults, they should be the ones that are keeping their jobs. They're the ones truly teaching us. Also, I'm new to Lacey Township High School after moving out for mates. I came back just for the arts. Just for the arts, I had left an elite school of academics because of Mr. Montague. He has taught me so much. So much. And even though with the literal garbage cans in the hallways for the leaks in the ceilings that have not been repaired for years. Yeah, like literally every 10 feet like a Disney trash can. It's actually out of hand. The jobs are compromised for these teachers, but they still keep going. They're still putting on a brave face, and they're showing up to school, and they're guiding us along the way. They're still doing their jobs. They're not leaving. Even if they are searching for new jobs, they have not stopped. They've been betrayed, left behind, but they're still going and keeping their loyalties. Because their loyalties are to the students, and they love their students, and we love them back. We need Mr. Montague at Lacey. We need Mr. Fritz at Lacey. And even Mr. V for the Spanish class can teach so much that we can't have with other students. With 40 students in a class, that's an insane number. There's simply not going to be any education going on, and it's a danger to our students and our teachers. It's impossible for a teacher to contain 40 kids at once, especially at a high school age. Some of these people have the bodies of grown adults, and teachers simply cannot control that in a classroom environment. As well as we have 30 kids in a class right now, and we could barely fit them. I'm sitting shoulder to shoulder with most kids in each class. 40 kids, I'm not even sure how this is going to work. I just really think we need to find another way to save our budget cuts and not cut the people who are actually guiding us and helping us and doing their jobs as teachers. Thank you for your time.
Okay, so hear me out. Hang on one second. All right, so we've eliminated board member comments tonight. We've eliminated superintendent comments tonight, and we've eliminated board committee report tonight due to the fact of the length of the meeting. We're all going to call public comment to an end at 10 o'clock. So you have another 28. I'm sorry? Thank you so much. I appreciate it, because we have to go back into private session and finish, because we came out late. We're coming back out again. We're going back into private session. So if you would like to go next, go ahead. You can go.
Rhiannon Mendes, Woodland Road, Forked River. This is my 19th year teaching in Lacey,
and I was also a student and alumni, and I've fought for several issues, and I know that everybody here wants to keep our staff, and emotions are really high, and just as much as I was willing to fight for my rights a few years ago, I am wanting to fight for this district. And the only thing that I keep hearing, we need to work towards a solution, and it looks like the only solution is pointing towards fighting in Trenton. And there's another 140 districts. And I think we need to move towards putting together some kind of volunteer committee to make that happen and to have a big presence the day that they're going to vote on giving us some of this funding back and making others aware as to how non-transparent the budget is. But we can talk all night about how much we love our staff and how much of an impression it's made on all of you. But the people sitting on this stage care and are donating. There's many of you giving your time for this. We need to focus on the fight and what's going to resolve the issue, and it's getting money. And our voices need to be heard in Trenton. So I would be happy to volunteer if there could be a committee that joins to get together with Jackson, Toms River, the other Ocean County districts that received funding cuts, and put together. I have one and a half personal days left that I am willing to help with anything that we can collaborate to make a presence seen in Trenton.
Okay. I've been trying not to comment all night on public comment, but you just hit a stone right there. So a lot of you don't realize she mentioned Toms River, Jackson, some other schools. Myself, Dr. Pereira, Mr. Silva, and Ms. Claus went to a meeting 2 weeks ago, about a 4 or 5 hour meeting at Jackson schools. While we were there, we met with 16 other districts to collaborate together, correct? So we've been quiet, you've been saying you should do this, we've been doing it. Dr. Pereira, let me finish, please. I let you speak, let me speak. Thank you. So Dr. Pereira has been to Trenton numerous times and testified in all your guys' behalf, and all the employees' behalf. She's been there testifying, explaining to the state of Trenton, correct, what this is doing to our district. And not a lot of people know that. We've been there fighting. We've been there. She's been more of a politician, following this, following that, following this, keeping the board updated. Where is it out on the table right now? Where is it at being this? Reaching out to Mr. Amato, correct?
But that's what I mean. I think it's time for the public to stand behind her.
We've been doing that 2 hours, 3 hours after we found out about the cuts. We had a meeting with Senator Amato, the Township Committee, oh my goodness, the 9th Delegation District on Lacey Road at their office. We had a meeting there discussing what the impact is going to be to this district. So a lot of people are up here saying you. It's not us. Just let me finish, please. It's the state that cut us, correct? We are in the fight. We're doing the fight. Ms. Benitez, I appreciate that, absolutely, and I'll be the first. I'll drive the bus, all right, to go to Trenton. But we've been to Trenton. We have been collaborating with other districts. Yes, we're in a bad situation. But I don't know how to tell you this. Jackson, in a worse situation. Toms River, in a worse situation. We walked in with our heads down, oh my God, we're getting pummeled. We thought we were bad, all right? Jackson School District needs to transport 4,800 non-public students on their dime, and the state pulled $10 million out of their budget on top of that.
So then as a county, we should be able to pull together.
We are attempting that. We are not only are tired, remember the state lawsuit, trying to find the funding formula? It's to the point now where we're trying to collaborate together and go federal. A federal lawsuit to say, hey, why are 150 schools out of 400 something losing, and you go one town south of here, and they come out and say, oh, come look at our brand new plasma TV board on our scoreboard, on our football field. And meanwhile, we're cutting sports, we're cutting music, we're cutting this, we're cutting that. We're looking at pay to play. We've looked at every option possible. Old school people in here, Central Regional, split session. We looked at it. We had it on the board where the juniors go and freshmen and juniors go from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m., correct? And the seniors and juniors go from 7 a.m. to 12 p.m. We've looked at every option possible to save money. We've hired a company last year to monitor our utilities as best as possible. The problem is our utilities are so old, we can't even hook it up to the computer systems for the guy to raise and lower the heat at night. We got to do it manually. Yes, we know about the roof leaks. Absolutely. We had a case study on all our buildings, and the biggest problem was the roofs. But we're looking at a referendum. Well, we can't do a referendum if we ask a question to raise more than that 2% cap to try to bring it up. I'll add 10 minutes at a time, man. You're correct. All right? But we are doing everything possible. They are doing everything possible to try to accommodate and keep as many jobs as possible.
The vote is May 9th, correct?
What's that?
The vote, the day that they're going to vote?
Originally, it was May 6th. I'm now hearing May 9th. So I'm keeping up on when it is, and I will let absolutely everybody know when it's going to be. Okay, let's keep going with our.
Okay,
our
thank you.
comments.
Do you have any
And
other
we'll work
comments?
on that.
No, that was all.
Go ahead, sir.
Thank you.
John Sotelo, South Street, Lenoka Harbor. First off, I want to commend everybody over here, all the children who have come up and have said something to this board that had the gall to come up here and discuss what their disgust was with this decision. We moved here to Lacey Township in 2006. I moved here with my wife and my 2 children at the time. I didn't have a third. I came here because the school district was a great district. I heard that the district was a great district, and when I came in and when my kids started in school, they were a great district. I've seen a decline in this district over the years. Over and over and over again. We continue to hear, year after year after year, budget cuts. Budget cuts, we're losing people, we're losing people, we're losing people. I was preparing with my children to go up on Sunday to go to Accepted Students Day for my daughter who was accepted into college. Saturday night, I heard something that was pretty disgusting. I heard that Mr. Montague was going to be let go. Mr. Montague has been a staple of the band department here, the performing arts department. He's been a confidant. He's been a mentor. He's somebody that everybody goes to. When the children cannot go to the guidance counselors in this school district because they don't feel that they can talk to the guidance counselors in this school, they go to Mr. Montague. They'll sit down in his classroom. They'll sit there and talk to him. You know why? Because he sits with them, and he will sit there and listen. They feel that they have the respect of Mr. Montague, and Mr. Montague has the respect of every one of these children and all the students that are not here tonight that are in the performing arts. I come to you as the incoming Performing Arts Boosters Association president of the board for next year and years to go. I, and everybody else, all the parents, all the volunteers, have seen everything that Mr. Montague does for these children, okay? The only other person that has not been a volunteer that knows exactly what Mr. Montague means to these children is Mr. King. Mr. King has been to the events. He's been to the competitions. He's helped us in the Performing Arts Boosters Association with equipment, pulling things in there, pulling things into the trailers, into the trucks. He's helped us out, so he knows. When you go backstage, you guys don't see what happens backstage. Everybody in the Performing Arts Boosters that is a parent volunteer goes and they can see and they can say exactly what he means to these children. So I think that you guys should seriously consider keeping Mr. Montague because Mr. Montague is the Lacey Township High School Band, and the Lacey Township High School Band is Chris Montague. And I understand, just like all the other parents do, that these budget cuts are coming from Trenton, right? I'm pissed. I'm pissed. When I look at this, and I'm sure you've probably seen things that I've posted. I've sent you guys emails, so if you haven't read it, you can go ahead and go into your Lacey Township emails and you could read that, right? But I'm pissed to sit here and look and see that the potential for the arts program is at jeopardy. That check that you have sitting right on that desk is for mental health, okay? A lot of these children without this program will suffer. They will suffer. And the failure will be on all of you.
Thank you for your comment. Dee, would you like to come up next? Dee, you're next.
Hi, sir. I have one question just to start off today. Are you proud of your efforts dealing with these budget cuts? Are you proud of them?
Thank you for your time. Next comment? Really?
I have a question for you.
I'm not going to get in a debate with you, sir, of what. Of course we are proud to be up
Sir,
here.
I'm the student representative of Lacey Township High School. I'm the class president. I've been the senior class president for 4 years. So I don't understand why that would be a problem, sir.
I'll let you go. When you're done, I'll reply.
Thank you. I believe that the thing wrong with this district in general is that there's a lack of pride, okay? Each and every one of you, the lack of pride that's happening with this district is snowballing down to the teachers out here and to the students right now. I, as a student, have to do my best, okay, to make sure that these kids are proud of their school as a student, as a 17-year-old boy. I'm not even 18 yet. And I'm doing a better job than most of you adults out there instilling pride in the school. It's a joke. I'm not only the class president, I'm in the NHS, I'm in the drama, I'm in the varsity baseball team, okay? I'm a leader. I have to make sure that these students are proud to be here, and it's a joke because not even the teachers are proud to be here. And that's not even a reflection on them, it's a reflection on you guys because they have nothing to look up to, they don't have an incentive. Okay? I have to find out how to make fundraisers for my seniors. I go to my advisors and I'm trying to make plans up for these fundraisers and they're telling me that they don't have a solution. I say, I need to find a way to do it because they give me until last minute to make these fundraisers up, right? And they say, it's not going to go through, we don't have enough time. I say, why not? She goes, in years past, the students would do it on their own. I go, why isn't that happening? Why do you think that's not happening, that the students aren't doing this? Why do you think so? I say, because they're not proud. They have no incentive to because the people up here don't actually care about us. They don't care at all. They don't care. They don't care. If they cared, none of this would be happening. The people that actually care about the students wouldn't have to sit up here and even beg, okay? They wouldn't even have to. And it's sad that it's coming from me. It's sad, okay? I'm 17 years old, and I know that as a 17-year-old boy who has learned more from the teachers sitting out there, those teachers have molded me into the person who I am. And you're so quick and willing to let them go because of money? It's lazy. It's easy. It's the easy way out. It's been that way for the past 10 years. It's the easy way out. Yeah, that guy's right. I haven't been around that long. And I know he's right. I knew that Lacey at one point was a place that people were proud to be at. We had winning teams. We had winning programs. Everyone was like, yes, this is what I want to be a part of. But now no one wants to be a part of anything because the people at top don't care about us. They don't care at all. And until you guys realize that, nothing is going to change. And it's a shame that I even had to come up here and beg for me to talk. It's a shame. As a student. Why? Why? Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
She's been waiting for a while.
She has homework to do, so I told her to go in front of me.
Yeah,
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. I had a whole thing planned, eloquently said, but it is 10 o'clock. I still have homework to do for my college classes, so I'll try to keep it brief. As I was, well, more so before, but when I was looking across the room, I saw faces of people, not teachers, but actual people with families and lives, and they need to sort out their own money and everything. They have all shaped the past 3 years of my lives with guiding and supporting students like myself to reach as high up as we can and then some. And as well as, like, just supporting us in general of our livelihood. Like, I can name teachers right off the bat. Okay, well, guidance counselor Miss Spinuzza, Mrs. Soto, Miss Dijon have literally kept me afloat my entire high school career. Ever since I was 10, I've been hospitalized 4 times for my psychiatric health. And in freshman year, I went to go to Spinuzza, and she saved my life, and I haven't been in such a rut since, because I've had her, as mentioned, Dijon, I've had Soto, I've had also teachers who are just, I walk into the rooms, I had a really rough day today, but walking into Miss Penna's room, walking into Mr. Fisher's room, made me smile a little more. And knowing that there are most likely more teachers that are on the list, that these teachers are going to be on and going to be cut, there's going to be more statistics of kids killing themselves. I am only here today because of these teachers, and don't you dare say, oh, we're only going to have 10 minutes left. I and these many other students and adults who are concerned for the well-being of this community have been here since, 6 o'clock? And you guys were saying you were there since 5 or 4, but this is your job. I and many others have families to go back to. We haven't eaten dinner. I have homework to do, but I'm here trying to tell you, please care about our well-being. I don't understand. And also, why is it based on seniority? Again, it's been mentioned before, the top coach in this school, everyone knows he's really creepy with the girls. He would video record me and other students doing jumping jacks last year, and always mentioned me and one other girl said, your jumping jacks are really nice. I was disgusted. I went to guidance and I spoke to someone who I suppose normally deals with that. They switched my class, thankfully. Nothing happened to the coach. Didn't expect it, but still. Seeing these teachers who are proven to actually better our lives, yet we have the guy who sexually harasses young girls and also shows us videos of frat house paddling that is not false. During his gym lessons, he would show us that content. But that's allowed? Make it make sense. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment.
Good evening. Dee Bahujan, Forked River. I'm a parent, a taxpayer, Lacey alumni, and the co-chair of the Lacey Special Education Parent Advisory Group. I don't envy anybody sitting up there tonight. I know you've made a lot of hard decisions. I know some of you up there and some of you over there, the LTA, have been working very hard to get some of our funding back, so I want to say thank you. And I see you and I appreciate you. I also wanted to point out tonight that one of the women in the Rotary was one group of several parents that in the 70s walked around the township knocking on doors, convincing taxpayers to vote yes on the referendum to get this high school built. Her name is Heather Scanlon, and she is my mother. I can only imagine what she thinks now, what goes through her head when she sees what's happening with this district. Thank you to all her friends at the Rotary for the support of mental health. As we heard tonight, we are in a mental health crisis. We have known about this S2 bill coming. We've been dealing with it since 2018. I think putting so much time into a preschool grant that you've dropped the ball on the S2 situation. Let's face it, that grant can be cut at any time, and that would be another complete disaster. I think maybe that we should have been trying to figure out a way to bring money back into the district. We all know that the money is in special education, and if you would build that department back up, stop cutting the special education teachers, bring about 20 to 30 students back into this district from other students, bring some of them back that are being homeschooled because they pulled them out because of the programs that were cut, we could make millions of dollars back. And I hope that some of you consider looking into that into the future. We do need to do a lot better in our special education department. I also wanted to point out, I have not seen any administration cuts come through in the past 5 years, even though we've lost 150 teachers, paras, staff members, etc. The other issue that I wanted to bring to your attention tonight is that the self-contained autism room in the high school is on their 3rd teacher this year. She's actually not a teacher, she's a long-term substitute. Long-term substitutes don't even have to have a special education certification. Either do regular substitutes. They do not even read IEPs, they're not privy to them. So you have a whole classroom of students, special needs students who need the most consistency are not getting any consistency, and their last 2 marking periods are being taught by someone who doesn't have a special education certification and can't even read their individual education plans. I think that's unacceptable. Lastly, I wanted to point out that the stipend for the jazz band is only $250. The music costs about $400, and Mr. Montague has paid the difference out of his own pocket several years. I asked him if he wanted me to go to the board and bring it up before a few years ago. Twice I asked him, 2 years in a row. He said no. I believe he didn't want to make any waves, and look where that got him. Anyway, thank you. Good luck to everybody working hard.
There we go. I'm a Lacey Township high school student, and I'm not going to present myself as that, but instead as the future, as well I'm standing in front of a lot of the future. There are going to be future doctors here, future politicians, future palm readers even. I don't know what they're going to do, but they are the future here. And they are not going to be able to be the future if they do not have a proper education. If they do not have the resources that they need, they are not going to be able to get themselves to college, to trade school, to apprenticeships. They are not going to be able to get to any of that if they do not have the basic education to get there. And for some of us, there might not even be a future at this point. Last year, I went through an extreme mental health crisis. I was on the verge of taking my own life, and there were very few people in this school that helped supported me. And those who were are some that are being cut. Mr. Brewster, Mr. Fritz, some of the few people that did stay and stand up for me and make sure I was okay are now going to just be swept under the rug like dirt from some crumb cake. This year, I came into high school barely with a reason to go on. I was just going through the motions, chugging on just to get through high school with no light at the end of the tunnel. And then I ran into the arts. I joined theater, I completely joined into choir, and it gave me something to do. It gave me an escape from reality. It gave me motivation to keep going. It gave me a family away from home, a family away from where your normal family might be crazy or what have you, but you always have something to come to, and that's being ripped away from people. You're taking away people like Mr. Montague, who I've known not even for a year, but yet he has made so many of my days better. And just, you're taking away a lifeline from people. You are, this year alone across the district, we have already lost 2 lives to suicide. Let's not go for 3, strikes out. Batting 1,000 here, aren't we? These students are gasoline-dipped logs, and we are skipping stones, batting rocks together, throwing sparks everywhere, and it's going to set the logs upon fire. And at the end of the day, when the ash clears, you have to think, how do you feel about that? Are you okay with that? Do you sleep at night knowing that things that happen are partially your fault? I know. Not all your fault, I know. But we should be in this together, not button heads over it. So, teenager. I'm just a teenager, what do I know? So, how about a little teenage activity? I got a dare. I dare dare you? I dare you to talk to the other districts more. Why not talk to the entire state? We got so many districts that are struggling through the same thing that we can be talking to. And no, it doesn't have to be some long butt conference that you sit there for 4 to 5 hours. It could be as simple as getting a phone call through a secretary. And you know what? You can scrape off some of the top money that has come to other people. Like, I know we've talked about Coach Frizillo with the 2,000 something, or 200,000 something like that. People are being paid crazy amounts just over seniority and tenure, while people who are taking their own mental health into risk are getting paid scraps to what other people are getting paid. So instead of being able to go out and enjoy a teenage life, go home, do homework, or look into a college, we have to come here and fight for the future generations that are coming to the school. So thanks for that, I guess. Toodaloo.
Hi, Lisa Edgeworth, Hilltop Drive, Lenoka Harbor. I just want to say this. I see the sides from, as a community, we need to pull together more and we need to go fight before it comes to this, at this point. The children, they need their teachers. But when we're making budget cuts, and this is what I wanted to come to say, actually I wasn't going to say anything tonight, is that our teachers are assets. They're not an expense. And this is something that I learned years ago for a great company that I worked for, and they treated their employees as assets. We treat our children as assets, right? They're assets. They're not an expense. We do anything we can for them. So are your employees. So are our teachers. Mr. Montague, he's one of the best assets that Lacey Township has. You can't look to take him off of your expenses when he's irreplaceable. There is no other teacher in the district that can come in and fill his shoes. It's just not going to happen. He's the band director. He does the marching band, the jazz band, I guess he teaches the public speaking. There's so much that he does. If you remove one band teacher, I know, what do you have? I think 4 right now. One's in the military, so he's not here most of the time because he serves our country. And then you have one who takes care of the elementary schools, and then you have the other who's in the middle school. If you take our high school band director, what you're essentially saying to our community is that it's just not important, and music is going to completely be going what's next, what's going, okay? That's not fair. And just remember, when you're looking at your budget, people are assets. They are not expenses. Thank you.
Last one to go. Go ahead, ma'am.
Hi, Kaylee Hollister. I have stated my name at the last board meeting, and I will state it again. I have spoken about this last year as well, when my band director and my chorus teacher throughout my Mill Pond years, Mr. Bowson, was cut from his job, and all the students and me had come here and stated our issues, and you all just sat in your chairs, looked at us like we were stupid, and didn't care. You sat in your chairs, stared at us, or stared at your phones, or stared at your computers, or play with your pens, and we're like, oh, okay, we'll do something about it, but we don't care. We don't care. You're cutting teachers who actually care about their jobs, rather than the teachers who come to school every day, ugh, I hate my job. Ugh, I hate the students I have to teach. I know my math teachers that I love dearly. They come to school every day with a smile on their face and say, I love my job. I am proud to be working here. I am proud to have a job. And I hope that money that you got for the mental health is going to a good cause instead of a bad one, because really, you really need it. Have you seen what we've gone through? Five people we have lost in our district. There could be more. There are so many problems you do not know about. Your teachers don't know about. Your counselors do not know about. Students are afraid to tell their counselors what is going on because they certainly really do not care. Okay, we'll help you. They call the parents, something happens, the kid gets yelled at home because they feel a certain way. That shouldn't happen. They should feel safe at school. I don't feel safe. I will say it 1,000,000 times until the day I die. I do not feel safe in your school. And I'm proud to say that I will be leaving and I'm never coming back because your school district sucks. You don't do anything. You don't help. You don't want to help the kids. You want to help yourself. All I'm saying is you need to shape it up before you lose more kids and more money because this is really disgusting. Seriously. You need to do something about it because you're going to lose a lot of people. And it's going to be your fault. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. We're moving on now to new business.
Sorry, sir, can I say?
I'm sorry, we're closed the floor. Thank you so much.
I thought public comment.
Ma'am, I've given every opportunity for people to speak. Every opportunity. The entire room.
Not for him. Let him speak.
You have one more person. Let him speak.
To speak.
You got 2 minutes, go.
You get 5.
All right, so I'm
Take your time.
I'm up here today representing Mr. Montague. He was in that corner of the room. When you think about somebody who doesn't want to be in a room, who doesn't want to be seen, he is in the corner. He does not want to be publicized the way we are publicizing him. He doesn't want the attention that we are giving him. He wants us to be seen. He doesn't want himself to be seen. I have been to, my own concerts that I was in, and he is the only person that was not thanked in the entire auditorium. I wanted to say that he's a great guy. That the emotional, the mental support of this school, it's based on these teachers that are being laid off. I mean, granted, these budget cuts, granted, you have to do something about these budget cuts. Granted, these teachers are the easiest access to them. What do we need to do, though? We need to base these, who's being laid off based off of performance. Because if we keep on basing this off of seniority, I mean, I'm not going to name names, but Coach Varsillo, quite literally, is overdue for retirement by how many years now? And he's getting paid how much? Like, come on, seriously. It took me about 4 days to get a response from a senator, and it took you guys, like, I believe you said 6 months to get a response, to get action rolling with the legal system. It's just, I know you guys are in a hard place. I sympathize with you, kind of. The fact that there are how many microphones up there, and I've seen 1, 2, 3 used. Not calling everybody else out, but the situation sucks. We get it, but there's action that can be done. Simply, if you guys could start by getting word out wider. I had to go to my French teacher, Mr. Paula, just to find out what to do to actually save the teacher that we wanted to save, Mr. Montague. I had no idea. If it weren't for Mr. Paula, I would have no idea what to do to come to this board meeting in general. There's so much that can be done. If we could get, I don't know, on the morning announcements, something about the budget cuts, how to email these people. If we could get a list of people, well, we do have a list of people to email, but if we could get a student perspective of what to send out, not just the parent's perspective, because it's directly affecting us. I mean, granted, they keep on saying we are the future. We are, and you're stripping, quite literally stripping the future away from its needs. What the future needs to thrive. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your
That's all.
comment. Okay, we'll move on to business. We'll go on to meeting minutes. Can I have a motion, please? Page 2, A1. Have a motion, please?
Motion.
Second? Roll call, please.
Mr. Bell?
Yes.
Mrs. Armato?
Yes.
Mr. Conity?
Yes.
Mr. Armato?
Yes.
Mrs. Claus?
Yes.
And Mr. Peters?
Yes.
Thank you.
Page 2, list of bills, A2. Can I have a motion, please?
Motion.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Bell?
Yes.
Mrs. Armato?
Yes.
Mr. Conity?
Yes, but I need to abstain on 949-936, 955-333, 953-116, and then my employer 289-299 and 283-300.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Mr. Armato?
Yes.
Mrs. Claus?
Yes.
And Mr. Peters?
Yes, I need to abstain on 211210, please.
Thank you.
Page 2, transfer, A3, A4. Can I have a motion, please?
Motion. Second.
Roll call, please.
I'm sorry, who motioned?
It was Mr. Amato and Mr. Conity, seconded.
Thank you. Mr. Bell?
Yes.
Mrs. Armato?
Yes.
Mr. Conity?
Yes.
Mr. Armato?
Yes.
Mrs. Claus?
Yes.
Mr. Peters?
Yes. Page 2 through 5, finance and facilities, A5 through A12. Can I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Second. Conity.
First was Mrs. Amato, second was Mr. Conity. Can I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Bell?
Yes.
Mrs. Armato?
Yes.
Mr. Conity?
Yes.
Mr. Armato?
Yes.
Mrs. Claus?
Yes, except no on 10.
And Mr. Peters?
Yes. Page 5 and 6. A18, A16, I'm sorry. Oh, my apologies. Page 5, tuition and transportation, A13, A15. Can I have a motion, please?
I have a question.
Sure.
Comengo, or if I don't know if I'm saying it right, Comengo Education Institute keynote speaker. Who is he? What is it? Have we heard about this?
Yes.
Okay.
Comegno, being paid through title funds, and he's speaking at our mental health night as our keynote speaker.
Okay.
He's been in our district before.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Can I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Mr. Amato, you get that? Roll call, please.
Mr. Bell?
Yes.
Mrs. Armato?
Yes.
Mr. Conity?
Yes.
Mr. Armato?
Yes.
Mrs. Claus?
Yes.
Mr. Peters?
Yes. Page 5 and 6, A16 through A18. Can I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Second.
Mr. and Mrs. Amato. Roll call, please.
Mr. Bell?
Yes.
Mrs. Armato?
Yes.
Mr. Conity?
Yes.
Mr. Armato?
Yes.
Mrs. Claus?
Yes.
Mr. Peters?
Yes. Page 6, policies and regulations, A19 and A20. Can I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Second.
Mr. Conity, Mr. Amato. Can I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Bell?
Yes.
Mrs. Armato?
Yes.
Mr. Conity?
Yes.
Mr. Armato?
Yes.
Mrs. Claus?
Yes.
Mr. Peters?
Yes.
All right.
We will now resume, sorry, back in the private session. She's going to read. My bad.
We're
tired.
going to go back into private session. Be it resolved that an executive session be convened for the purpose of discussing confidential student matters, including but not limited to harassment, intimidation, and bullying, confidential legal matters, including but not limited to the current caseload, and confidential personnel matters. Subject matters of these discussions will be disclosed to the public when the reason for confidentiality subsides. The length of the executive session is estimated to be approximately, what do you think?
1 hour.
60 minutes.
We'll be back at 11:30,
After
folks.
which the board shall reconvene and proceed with business at 11:22. Action may be taken. Motion?
Motion Peters.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We'll be back in an hour. Public, please be quiet so we can reconvene. We appreciate it.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Last year was this late.
How do you want to call us? You're going to do each one individually? How do you want to call the heads? Pete, I'd like to have need a motion for page 6, A21, A22, please.
Motion.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Bell?
Yes.
Mrs. Armato?
Yes.
Mr. Conity?
Yes.
Mr. Armato?
Yes.
Mrs. Claus?
Yes.
Mr. Peters?
Yes. Need a motion for page 6B, donations, please.
Motion.
Second.
Ready? Roll call, please.
Mr. Bell?
Yes.
Mrs. Armato?
Yes.
Mr. Conity?
Yes.
Mr. Armato?
Yes.
Mrs. Claus?
Yes.
Mr. Peters?
Yes. Also like to thank the Rotary for their donation. Page 7, C, programs and curriculum. Can I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Bell?
Yes.
Mrs. Armato?
Yes.
Mr. Conity?
Yes.
Mr. Armato?
Yes.
Mrs. Claus?
Yes.
Mr. Peters?
Yes. Page 7D, professional days, workshops / travel. Can I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Second.
Conity.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Bell?
Yes.
Mrs. Armato?
Yes.
Mr. Conity?
Yes, but I need to abstain on, this is Krakowski.
Thank you. Mr. Armato?
Yes.
Mrs. Claus?
Yes.
Mr. Peters?
Yes. Page 7 through 10E, certified personnel, E1 through E10. Can I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Bell?
Yes.
Mrs. Armato?
Yes.
Mr. Conity?
Yes.
Mr. Armato?
Yes.
Mrs. Claus?
Yes.
Mr. Peters?
Yes. F, pages 11 through 16, non-certified personnel, F1 through F9. Can I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Bell?
Yes.
Mrs. Armato?
Yes.
Mr. Conity?
Yes.
Mr. Armato?
Yes.
Mrs. Claus?
Yes.
Mr. Peters?
Yes.
Okay,
We have a resolution.
we have 4 walk-on resolutions.
Can you just give it a brief survey, brief identification of what each one is, please? Without using names? Oh, we're going to read them? Okay. Go on.
Walk-on resolution number 1 is for the termination of employment contract. Move that the board approve the termination of employment contracts for the following staff. Employee numbers 858037 as of 4/22/24 and 857993 as of 3/11/24. Motion?
Motion.
Second, Peters. Roll call, please.
Mr. Bell?
Yes.
Mrs. Armato?
Yes.
Mr. Conity?
Yes.
Mr. Armato?
Yes.
Mrs. Claus?
Yes.
And Mr. Peters?
Yes.
Okay, walk-on resolution number 2 is suspension without pay. Move the board approve a 3-day suspension without pay for the following staff. Number 856889 for 4/19/24, 4/22/24, and 4/23/24. Motion?
Motion.
Second.
All right, Mr. Bell?
Yes.
Mrs. Armato?
Yes.
Mr. Conity?
Yes.
Mr. Armato?
Yes.
Mrs. Claus?
Yes.
Mr. Peters?
Yes.
Okay, walk-on resolution number 3. This is approval of a settlement agreement. Move that the Lacey Township Board of Education approve the settlement agreement to be paid by insurance with respect to civil action docket number OCNL001366622 as discussed in executive session. Motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Mr. Bell?
Yes.
Mrs. Armato?
Yes.
Mr. Conity?
Yes.
Mr. Armato?
Yes.
Mrs. Claus?
Yes.
Mr. Peters?
Yes, with the contract revised.
Oh, yes.
All right, our last walk-on resolution. Be it resolved that the Lacey Township School District approves the following. Whereas student ID number 908667 has been duly noticed and afforded the opportunity to participate in a hearing before the Board of Education and has been afforded certain due process rights, and whereas student was advised of their right to appeal to the Commissioner of Education, and whereas student participated in a hearing pursuant to NJSA 37.2.4 before the Board of Education, which took place on April 18, 2024, and has been afforded certain due process rights. Whereas the preponderance of the evidence indicated that student ID number 908667 engaged in prohibited conduct, and that said behavior constitutes cause for further discipline. Now therefore be it resolved that in accordance with NJSA 18A 37.5, student ID number 908667 will be suspended and placed in an interim alternative placement ending June 30th, 2024. Be it further resolved that student ID number 908667 will be excluded from participating in all Lacey Township School District extracurricular school activities and is not permitted on any school property or any other school function without prior approval of the superintendent during the period ending June 30th, 2024. Motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Mr. Bell?
Yes.
Mrs. Armato?
Yes.
Mr. Conity?
Yes.
Mr. Armato?
Yes.
Mrs. Claus?
Yes.
Mr. Peters?
Yes.
Motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion at 11:38.
All in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it.
Thank you, Stanley. God.